this footage.
Dang it.
We should have got all that.
There it is.
Okay, now that we hit start recording, we should be able to start.
Well, maybe.
Or else we almost just did a 2-hour trial run.
Hey, it's all about rehearsals, right?
It's all about rehearsals.
Just want to be prepared.
Ooh. All right.
Missed the sand table, though.
You boys ready?
Ready.
Sir.
Here we go.
It's like the kickoff, man. Let's go.
Special Forces ready.
Welcome to the Tier1 Podcast.
This is amazing, dude. Check this out.
Welcome to the Tier1 Podcast. I'm your host, Brent Tucker, owner of FRCC. We do coffee, cigars, bourbon. Go to frcc.shop and use the promo code FRCC15. That's 15. The number's 15 to get 15% off the world's best coffee, cigars, and bourbon.
And I'm Drew Tucker, producer of the Tier1 Podcast. Guys, consider supporting the channel at Patreon, the Tier1 Podcast, for behind-the-scenes content, exclusive content. You'll be glad you did. Support us at Patreon, the Tier1 Podcast.
This episode is brought to you by HP TRT, Human Performance TRT. Go to hp-trt.com for all of your hormone and peptide needs. With us today, episode 1, the big anticipated relaunch of a podcast, and no pressure, not to sound braggadocious, but we really could have had anyone that we wanted on here for episode 1. We got some big names coming, and it was a no-brainer to me who I wanted to start this thing out with, because this is who I started my whole special operations career with. And if it wasn't for this man, I don't know if I'd have made it through anything. I definitely wouldn't have been the man I am today. With us, we have Darrin Beheler. Bo, as I've known him my whole life with you.
That's right.
Special Forces, Green Beret, 10th Group, Halo, Sniper, K9, multiple deployments, combat vet of Iraq and Afghanistan, and we've known. Gosh, I was going to say we've known each other since selection, but actually, because that's kind of where. But pre-selection
that's right.
is where we met, and we'll get into all
the story
that.
Didn't start then.
Yeah,
The good story didn't start then.
Oh gosh,
It was like the preface.
I'm so excited about this. I consider you one of my best friends.
Yes, sir.
And I'm about to learn a lot about you. And it's and by doing these episodes with friends, you kind of realize you don't know your friends as well as you should.
Right.
Like you know them, you know who they are. Mm-hmm. But because it's just not normal. We just don't sit down and be like, tell me your life story.
Right.
It's just not what we do. And every time I get an opportunity to do this, it always makes me feel bad, like what I don't really know about my friends.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about this. And as always, let's start from the beginning. Where are you from? I don't even know what state you're from. You don't like to talk about it.
Hey, thanks for that incredible introduction, Brent. Happy to be here, Drew. Thanks for the invitation, bud. Born and raised, Arlington, Texas.
Oh, Texas. That's right. That's right.
You didn't know. I felt like that was something we went over at some point, but yeah, from the great state.
That's actually how you always refer to it as the great state of Texas.
That's how I was raised, man.
Yeah.
Very proud of it. You know, I like to throw it in people's faces when I can, especially my dear friends. Just a reminder, where are you from? Oh, the great state. Duh.
That you do. So you grew up in Arlington or outside of it?
I grew up in Arlington, man, with my mom and my older brother Scott. Gosh, I want to say we moved there when I was less than a year old. Yeah. From Waco. Arlington my entire life until, college age and stuff. So
I'm always interested, and we do talk about this, and it's, people sometimes, I'm sure they're like, get to the combat, but
Right.
I always want to at least touch on this part of the story because it's interesting to me. I want to know where you come from, what produces a man that goes on and does the things that you've done. And it's never the same story, although I can argue there's a lot of common threads between all those types of people. How would you describe your childhood?
Ooh, man. I've thought about this a lot. And it's not typical of most childhoods, I don't think. A single mother with two kids, with multiple jobs, to make ends meet for her kids, and I'll start with this, that I've had heroes throughout my life, it's not just one hero that, encapsulates everything that I thought of as a hero. But if you want to start talking about the first hero of my life, and someone who set the example the right way is my mom. I mean, probably sounds, odd to some people, but that's the situation I was in. That was my experience. My mother provided us with everything we needed, and she did it, without hesitation, without fail, you know. She would have never let us know if it had gone to that point, but it never, I never saw that. It was incredible. Still to this day, I'm marveled by what my mother was able to do with two children.
It's weird when you get to an age that this flips a switch on you, right? Because at this point, well, it doesn't help that we're friends, but I could look at me like, so what are you, a mama's boy?
I mean, I could be, sure. That's not a bad thing, though.
Right?
I think it's a bad thing.
And in a weird way,
but I'm not ashamed of that.
At some point, I started taking that as a badge of honor. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, absolutely. But especially for the people that know my mother.
Yeah,
they're like, that's spot on. But I'm like, it is if you know her. So having an older brother that never let me win at anything. I mean, you laugh.
I laugh because it's my story. I know.
It's always funny to me that I would always listen to my grandparents or my dad telling me, he's like, one day, Darrin, one day, it'll be your day. I'll tell you what, my brother made sure it was a long time before that day, and I love him for it. And that's where Hero 2 comes in, I lived in a house with my first two heroes until I was, my late teens. So.
And again, you want to talk about this, always a common thread. If it wasn't for my brother pushing me, he didn't let me win, so I had to work harder.
Yeah, absolutely.
Than anyone else. So in a weird way, I feel like my older brother, Drew, missed out on the benefit of having someone push you.
Yep. Yep.
And obviously, when the next step with sports and the next step after that in the military, like those are just core principles that
instrumental
in that make you who you are.
Just in the no quit of the whole thing. I think
when you got to high school, were you already playing football before high school?
Oh yeah, man! I started football in, I don't know, 3rd, 4th grade.
Okay.
Like organized football, pee-wee football. Yeah.
Always tackle or flag.
Always tackle.
What?
Where's the camera? You guys, is this Florida? Oh, sorry, forgot I wasn't home. Apologies. I should have remembered. No, buddy, we didn't play flag football.
Okay, just making sure. It's flag
right,
football has gained in popularity. I'll have you know.
Oh, I'm sure it has. But back then, I was playing tackle football with my brother and his friends. That was just the funny part. But yes, I was mostly football. Yeah, I played all the sports, but mostly football, yes.
But before I started playing like organized tackle football, I grew up watching Drew. Yeah. We had our neighborhood team. And we challenged other neighborhoods to sandlot football. And I couldn't wait to get big enough to have our own team. And it's just a bunch of idiot kids getting together in a field against another neighborhood, no pads, a random ref who is someone's big brother, and just annihilating each other. And no one ever got into fights.
No holds barred, no fights.
And they were great.
It was normal. It was natural.
That's right.
Seemed like, but yeah. Don't see many of those things happening nowadays. But
So you knew going into high school you were gonna play high school football.
That was just part of it, man. You had your seasons. You had your football, then you had basketball, then you ran track.
Yeah.
And if you're good, you played baseball. But I wasn't talented in baseball like my brother. That's kind of what ruined me.
I can already tell you. I know you didn't run track. So did you just?
Really?
Did you?
What? Are you gonna mess around? Go that route with me? Okay. You know, I ran cross country all the way through 10th grade, and then when I realized, you know, runners don't get the girls. You know, in my mind it made sense.
Yeah,
it was more along the lines that, you know, I hadn't hit puberty yet. I was still just a little twerpy redheaded kid, you know, that weighed about 112 pounds. You know, it was terrible.
What position did you play?
I played wide receiver and defensive back.
Okay.
My entire career until college.
I didn't know that. That's surprising. I didn't know you played those two positions because I know what you played in college. That surprises me.
You know, when you and I get to the time where, you know, we played football together.
We'll get to there.
I know. I'm just saying. So it was far different. But yeah,
which is another thing that. So did you get recruited out of college, or were you at high school? Were you a walk on?
Brent, this is where things were just kind of shifted in my life a little. High school, I started at a public school. I went to Arlington High.
Okay.
I found myself in some trouble. My mom did, you know, she did some work overseas. You know, decided to leave her high school age son at home with some parental guidance, just not, you know, overly strenuous. So anyways, I ended up having some people over, got too big. The next door neighbor ended up telling her about it. I ended up going from Arlington High to Pantego Christian.
Okay.
I ended up going to a private school, finishing out my time in high school football at a TAPS 1 or 2A. I think it was TAPS 2A or I don't remember what A we were, but it was small, super small. So I go from being like number 3 wide receiver to
the man.
Well, yeah, basically, you know, go to a school that had 13 people on the football team.
Right.
I was brutal.
Oh, playing Iron. What do you call it? Iron Man football,
never,
offense, defense, no break.
No break.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade it for the world, though, man. It was, again, you know, we discussed this last night. There was a path that the Lord had put me on.
Yeah.
And far be it for me to understand or see it at the time, but I always saw it later on. I look back and like, it was perfect. That was what was supposed to happen, and it was for the betterment of my life. So, and that was one of them. So
here at the Tier 1 Podcast, we're excited to have Tasty Gains as a sponsor, a company with values that aligns with ours. They wanted me to let you know that even though not everyone they've sponsored has proven to have those same values, as soon as finding out about those things, they removed themselves. And that's all you can ask for in a company. They wanted me to make sure that everybody knew Shrek treated them very well. And it was unfortunate when they heard the news that they were led to believe a false narrative like so many others. I take their products every day, 3 times a day. And if it wasn't a product that I didn't take personally and believe in, and a company with integrity, then they wouldn't be sponsors on this show. Creatine helps the body produce more ATP, which is an energy molecule that your entire body runs on. It helps improve your physical and mental performance in all aspects of life. Let's be honest, creatine powder sucks to take every day. With the creatine gummies, you can take them with you anywhere and they taste great. Every batch is third-party tested, so you know you're getting exactly what you pay for. Go to tastygains.com and enter the promo code Tier1, that's TIER, the number 1, and get 20% off your order. So then you end up going to college?
Yeah, that's the silly part of this story is after high school, I had a couple opportunities to play some small football some places, but I went to Howard Payne for about 2 weeks and decided, that Division III football at Howard Payne wasn't going to work. So didn't end up finishing the season. Moved back home. Tried my hand at going to college, which was not something I was geared for yet.
Right.
I hadn't matured enough to handle it. So ended up, long story short, let's scooch. My old man asked me to move to Waco, live with him, and then work at M&M Mars. So I did that. One night at dinner, we're sitting there watching the news, and he just happened to look up, and in the they were doing a release on the program starting at the University of Mary Hardin Baylor. He looked at me, as serious as a heart attack. He was like, "You should go down there and finish your degree and play football." And I was like, and I looked at him because he never really pushed me to go to college and play sports. He just, wanted me to go to college and get my degree, whatever. So when he said that, I was like, I better jump on this while the iron's hot. So, man, I didn't get recruited. I hadn't played football in 6 years. I ran down there and I walked into the field house and, I ended up meeting a coach, Carmona. And it's actually the head football coach now is Larry Harmon. I met both of those guys and, invited me to come out for 2-a-days and the rest is history. I just didn't quit, man. That's where the no quit started.
Yeah.
So,
you haven't played football for 6 years.
Yeah.
You go to play at a collegiate level football.
Yes.
Something tells me because you're like no quit. You weren't training for this, were you?
No. Come on. I just showed up
right into 2-a-days.
Right into 2-a-days. And the bad news, when they're like, "Hey, what position did you play? You have some tape?" And I was like, okay. So I brought them tape of me playing at Pantego, and they're like, "Oh, we got another, defensive back here."
Right.
They put it in. They're like, "Which one are you?" And I was like, number 44. And they're like, looking at me and looking at the tape, looking at me. And I was like,
about 30 pounds later.
Yeah, I was like, well, I hit puberty finally. And like, oh,
Right.
yeah. And they're like,
Yeah.
"What do you think you're going to play here?" I was like, "What do you think I should play?" They're like, "Outside linebacker." I'm like, "Nah, I'm probably not fast enough." And they're like,
Yeah.
"Inside linebacker." I was like, we can try it. Well, first day we put pads on, we lined up and did some, 2-on-1 stuff, and I handled myself well with the offensive lineman. And they're like, "Oh, you're going to be D lineman." I was like, I played wide receiver and defensive back my entire career.
Yeah. Now you're down to the
sure
trenches.
about this? And now I'm
down to the trenches.
Oh, brother, that was 2 years of pain and anguish. But again, I wouldn't trade that for the world, man.
Yeah.
I've still got friends, best friends, from that time. So it's just another one of those doors that the Lord opened, man. It was incredible. After 6 years, really.
Again, you say that God has a plan.
Always, man.
And
always.
I think it's real unique. You end up doing that because you would have to tell me. I think that really prepares you for your next step in life.
Yeah.
Team oriented, no quit, very physical. I mean, you're ready. Those are all attributes you can take with you to the next level. But at this time, you don't even know what the next level is.
Not even close.
Do you? Yeah.
I had visions and aspirations, goals, and things because I went to get my degree in criminal justice in psychology. So I'm thinking, okay, this is pre 9/11, mind you. This is this is 2000. I graduate in May of 2001, so 9/11 hasn't happened yet.
Right.
Man, I get my degree, graduate, and I had been applying to all 3 other agencies you could think of.
Yeah.
Nobody was hiring. Nobody's hiring yet. 9/11 hadn't happened.
Yeah.
Only time I got anything remotely close was the U.S. Marshal Service. I had scored in like the top 97 percentile of the Marshal Service exam, and got an interview, got a call for an interview and stuff. But other than that, I couldn't get a job. Yeah. Nobody was hiring. I even went to the local PD, and so in Arlington, Texas, at the time, this door got shut quick, fast, and in a hurry. I went and did the interview, and I'm like, "Man, you killed it." Then they ran my background. Well, I'd gotten a little bit of trouble back in 1997 making alcohol available to a minor. I was 21 at a party where there was people that were underage drinking.
Yeah.
Guess who got nabbed? Slick Rick. So I ended up getting they took me to jail for it. It ends up being a Class B misdemeanor. Well, in Texas, they had just changed the law that if you got a Class B or higher misdemeanor, you couldn't get T-Close certified. So that ruled me out of all things Texas police force.
Wow.
All things. So guess what? That door shut. 3-letter agency, door shut. So guess what I do? I go take a job at loss prevention for Neiman Marcus.
That's right. I remember that.
My grandfather passes right before 9/11. 9/11 happens within the year. I didn't, like I was telling Drew, I didn't tell my mom, my brother, anybody. Just went to the recruiter. I was like, "Man, what do you got? What do you have for me?"
Right.
I said, "I've got to do something different." So he was like, we just got this program they started, the 18X3 program. And he's like, here, take a look at this. You know, I went home and watched it. I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do.
That's right.
That's what I want to do. So, you know, again, doors shut all over the place. Hey, no, you got your degree. Everything's good. You did what we wanted you to do there. You made your friends. You got your, you know, the experience as being on a football team, a college football team. But, you know, I looked at the military and was like, I'll go get 3 or 4 years experience. Then I'll have the experience that all these guys are looking for. Then I'll come back and I'll do that. Yeah. The Lord said, no, buddy, we got big plans for you, pal. So
it's always so funny looking back at what you thought you were going to do. And of course, the irony isn't lost on me that a city department said, you know, because of your background, you're not good enough to come work for us. But at a national level, the Green Berets are like, come on, bud.
We'll take it. We'll take it, big dog. Let's give it a shot.
Oh, man. So did you know what the 18 X-ray program truly was by the time that video was done? Or just like, this looks cool, whatever?
Oh, man. I'm going to
embarrass
myself with this whole thing.
And then when you're done, tell them what the 18 X-ray program is for anyone who doesn't know exactly what that means.
I went in there just looking for something to do to help, you know, because we had been attacked, man. I thought, you know, and that's what we got sold, that, you know, and I wanted to do something about it. You know, I want to be part of the response that, you know, hey, we're going to take it back to these guys.
Right.
So I told the guy that, and I had like an 18-year Army veteran in there that was doing my recruiting. So when I told him, I was like, hey, man, I'm 26. I don't need all the fluff or nutter. Just give me the real deal here. I want to do some stuff. So he gave me this, and, you know, he didn't even really understand it all. He just, hey, take a look at this. I mean, the Green Berets I knew, John Wayne and Rambo. You know, John Rambo and John Wayne were the only two. I mean, Green Berets. I didn't even know what that entailed. Yeah. I had no idea. I just knew that, you know, the video they put together, you know, started a fire inside. It's like, you know what? That's what I want to do. So, you know, what do I have to do to do that? And they're like, well, as an 18 X-ray, we're going to give you one shot. You're going to sign this contract, and if you fail any portion of this, you know, they didn't call it the Q course. I don't remember what he called it. This pipeline. Right. You know, you will go to the needs of the Army. And I was like, yeah, okay. I'm not going to quit anything. You know. Right. Where do I sign? Yeah. So.
So the 18 X-ray program is started. It's been on and off, but it's unique to where usually you had to be at an E4 promotable. Yep. To go to Special Forces selection.
Yep, that's right.
And, you know, every now and again, and especially because we're on terror, they turned it back on. And they're like, hey, you can come right from the street, right into Special Forces. That's right. No experience needed.
No experience. When I started, though, the one difference that changed was the age. You had to be 21.
Right.
Now, you know, I was well over.
And they ended up changing that to 18.
Yeah, sure did.
And it used to be 21 with life experience. Yeah. And that's the tough part about that, because that's subjective. Yeah. You were the prime candidate for that. You played college football. You're at the right age for this. Like, you are what the 18 X-ray program was built for.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, we got to meet a lot of people in our Q course that we'll get to that were also exactly what. But the 18 X-ray program also got a bad name because it lowered to 18. Yep. And the life experience was subjective, and they let some people in who shouldn't have. Yep. But I really do. I hate some of the people that just hate on the 18 X-ray program. I've never met a good X-ray. They should have never done that. I'm like, buddy, I've met 18 X-rays that run circles around you. Sure. Yeah. Like it was a good program. I thought it was good.
I thought it was really good.
I know it was a good program.
I think you and I both know that there were some that, you know, most times the non-hackers didn't make it through. There were a few that, you know, they had that no quit button in them that they just never quit. They just turned out not to be good Green Berets. And that happens. And that goes with regular Army guys that came over to do it as well.
That's right.
You know, they were just as big a turds as some of these guys. So
yeah, for sure.
You know, I think overall, I think it was a good program. I think they did very well. I think
it was needed.
It was absolutely needed. Absolutely needed.
And here in a little bit, we're about to go into 2 wars. Yeah. We needed Green Berets, but we needed good Green Berets.
That's right.
And that is what was produced during our time.
I believe so as well.
But we'll stay on track here just for a second.
Yes, sir.
You sign up. You go over. What any Anything stands out to you about basic training? Any like big like culture shock to you, or you're like, this is just a
being
step in
older
the
than
process?
a couple of the drill sergeants was tough.
Yeah,
You know, and I don't want. I told my mother I'd do my best not to use curse words, but you know, I'm sitting there listening to a 24-year-old, you know, up in my business. Yeah, I mean, just right up in my grizzle.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, just, you know, calling me stupid, you know, telling me
Right.
I was dumb as a dog shitting peach pits, and just, you know, like saying this random stuff, like,
right.
wait a minute, what? Okay, but you know, it didn't last long for me.
Yeah.
You know, I was one of those guys that are like, he's one of the older ones, you know. It's,
Yeah,
he's going to help keep these other guys in check, but
Yeah.
nothing really stuck out. I you know, of our class or of our platoon there, we had 65 18 X-rays.
Okay.
65 of us. Fran Piasek.
Yeah.
One of my dudes. Me and Fran were right there together. DB, who
went on to do great things.
Oh God,
Yep.
one of the best of the best, man.
Absolutely.
I mean, he knew what he wanted to do at that point. He was training to do that at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, when we had time off, DB was doing good stuff. You know,
Yeah, and he went all the way to the top.
crazy good. You know, working his butt off. So, shout out to you, DB. You're an incredible dude. But other than that, I mean, out of that group, 4 of us went all the way through together.
That's so
4 of us out of 65.
That's so crazy.
You know, DB was one of the only ones that got moved back a class because we were all moving on to airborne school afterwards or whatever.
Okay.
And I don't know if the class was too big or something, but he got held back and had to go behind us. So we lost him at that point. He had to make complete new friends and all that other stuff because we all had moved ahead.
Yeah. Oh, that's
And
difficult.
I hated it for him because he was one of the dudes, you know, that's who we wanted with us as we went through this thing. So
We'll call him after this and
absolutely.
see what that story is.
We have to. It was great.
Yeah.
So man, nothing crazy out of basic, man.
You do that, and just to walk through the pipeline, then you go to the 4-week infantry training course. Is it
AIT?
Or your AIT.
Yep.
After that, you go to jump school.
That's it.
Now this is where we won't have to.
It was next level dumb, but hey,
It's
necessary.
But this is at least the first time in your military career you're doing something pretty unique, right?
That's right.
You're from Texas. You shot guns before.
Plenty.
You're just going through exercises in the woods, getting yelled at. But not a lot of people jump out of airplanes in their life, and things get a little bit real during airborne school.
Especially then, I mean, we didn't have the new, the new technology that they were using. Now we're using T10 Deltas or T10 Charlies.
Yeah.
I mean,
Not
old
much has
school
changed
360 footers that you're hauling butt.
Not much has changed since World War II.
No, it was brutal.
The whole
brutal.
jump school, and it's a good
jump school
thing
stuff,
actually.
man. It was,
the whole
yeah.
jump school hadn't changed since World War II, but it's part of their lineage and heritage, and it's a good thing.
Yeah.
But did you get all 5 jumps in?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You have a bad jump?
I survived them all. I wouldn't say. I mean, most of them were bad, but I mean,
you look like
what
you-
were they? They weren't bad.
Yeah.
I enjoyed jumping out of planes.
I was gonna say
that was the beginning of the
You look like you
Halo love life. Even though it was sad decline at the time.
You look like you load a parachute a little more than other people because of your weight. So you may come down faster.
It's hot footing it. It's hot footing it, man. When they say, grab your risers and, pull, I was getting up to I was getting up as far as I could on that thing to get them, to crank them down. Because I was like, I need this thing to slow down. So,
well, this gets to the point where we actually meet. You get done with airborne school, and it's time to actually, and this has been months and months of a process for you that I'm sure you're not that excited about because you haven't got to do what you signed up to do yet.
Nope.
And so you finally get through airborne school, and it's
the pipeline.
It's time to go. It's time to go to Bragg.
That's it.
Like the journey has truly begun. So what's the first course you do at Bragg?
What was it? SOPSI 1? I believe it's SOPSI 1. I made the mistake of taking a Greyhound bus all the way home to get my truck.
Okay.
I believe is what I did. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that's it. Or I can't remember the exact thing. I think my brother might have brought it to me at some point. Anyways, I have my vehicle at, SOPSI. And when we showed up, they're like, hey, everybody show up at this time. Well, we showed up early, and guess what? That was our introduction to SOPSI 1. Oh, it's brutal. It was a weekend, man. It was a Saturday afternoon or whatever it was when we came pulling up. They scuffed us up some terrible. And I'm like, this can't be it. This isn't SF, is it? It was brutal. And they took us out on the field. It was freshly cut. And we were doing log rolls, and then we were having to shove handfuls of grass down each other's shirts and stuff. I mean, it was just, the beginning of, hey, we want to see who wants to be here bad enough.
Yeah.
And there were dudes that didn't come back after that weekend. They're like, nah, man, this ain't for me. I'm like, dude, it's like getting hazed by your older brother, man. What are you talking about? this isn't anything, not yet. So, that was
I'm sure
my first introduction to it.
We had a guy that was a SEAL before 9/11, got out, came back in.
I want to call him Jeff Dardia.
Jeff, Derek was another one. That's right. We actually had two.
I remember Jeff
and then
Dardia.
we had 4 Rangers that had gotten out and were coming back in, and guys that were brand new like you, and guys that didn't have much military experience like me. Just a plethora, or just a wide variety of guys. But to hear those older guys or the experienced guys that have been in special operations, like look at each other and look at us and be like, this is the worst thing I've ever done.
Right? No,
this was SOPSI. We haven't even got to selection yet.
We hadn't done anything SF related.
No,
it was testing our metal, which I get it now. At the time, I was like, what is this? What are we accomplishing here? You're just making everything suck for us. So
it was unique because things just got real serious. Right, we're at war. Our instructors. Absolutely. Our instructors had just got back from war.
Oh, yeah. I've got a story about that. For sure.
And kind of explain, probably what you think the mentality is of why they were so hard on us.
Oh yeah, man. Absolutely. My cadre, we call him Scary Terry. And I'm sure some guys that are going to watch this will know who I'm speaking of. I ran into him on one of my first deployments, and I just couldn't stop. I wasn't. Eyeballing him hard. I just kept, making it obvious that I knew who he was. And, we kind of stopped the briefing. I was talking about the comms plan, and he looked at me and he's like, you're one of mine, weren't you? I was like, you bet I was. You bet I was. And, and he's like, man, I'm sorry. He's like, let me, and I got to come over and talk to him about it. And he explained, he's like, man, here's the problem. Because they took us out of a rotation. I'd been twice. I had just gotten my feet wet, and they pulled me out of the combat rotation and put me back, at SWIC. He goes, "It's the last place I wanted to be was training new guys." So guess what? We made it hard as hell for you guys to stick around. He goes, and the ones that did were the ones we wanted. So it's pretty cool to hear him say something like that.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Well, especially downrange when we're about to go get our gun on. So
boy, did they put the screws to us?
Oh man,
boy, did they put the screws to us?
It was brutal, man. It was brutal.
And it was a blessing. Because if you were lucky enough to make it through SOPSI, they prepared us for the next phase.
There was no question about
which was
selection.
There
was no. I mean, we basically did selection, and then we went and did selection,
right?
Without getting scuffed up so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we were peak performance. It didn't matter how far the unknown distance. It didn't matter.
No.
We just knew to go. Just go. It didn't matter if it was with a ruck or without a ruck.
Yeah.
We went balls out the whole time just because that's what we'd been trained to do. We had learned to do that. That's how you made sure there was no discrepancy. Hey man, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about this dude. We got to have this guy. So we killed it until you and I got together for the end.
What? All right.
I mean, I don't want to fast forward to that, but
gosh,
that's where this friendship solidified itself.
So
in pain and suffering and in sheer embarrassment.
I'll fast forward us there. Rucks, runs, land navigation, sleep deprivation, random. We're crushing it. We're crushing selection. We're at the very end of selection, and we get put on what's called a team trek. And it's just a team of guys that have to go like 40 miles, 50 miles over 2 days. And you go to one event, ruck there, and then you have some problem solving or whatever.
Down pilot or some stuff like that.
Take it from there.
Well, you know,
about what a team trek is.
I hate skipping over. I hate skipping over land nav because it was so important.
Yeah, then
you know,
don't.
they made it so important that we knew how to land nav. And there were some. I thought there were some good stories about it. Were you a first night pass?
Yeah, sure was.
You remember us linking up after night one, and you were in the roped off area, and I was on the other side, and I was like, dude, I was within 100 meters of my last point, and all I had to do was go over the crest, but I kept running this direction.
Right.
For the last 45 minutes, I'm running. It just never dawned on me to walk over the hill. I hear the horn blast.
Yeah.
And I looked that direction, and as I walked over here, there he was. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I had to do it 2 nights in a row. And you remember which point I got that next night? You remember I was the guy that got started at Bones Fork Creek, and my first point was at the very top of the map. I had to walk all night to get 1 point. Then my last ones were all close together. But
that's a heartbreaker to get to because it makes you think they're all going to be like that.
Well, I hadn't had to unfold my map. I had to get to the top. I said, you got it. And my string almost didn't stretch that far. I'm going, this can't be right.
Yeah.
But I ended up walking it anyways. That's when I got caught on that turkey farm and what shocked myself. That was always great. But no, that was one of the most important things that I think, you know, is overlooked because, you know, it's just not this, you know, super sexy skill, but it is incredibly important.
Why? Well,
if your batteries go out, guess what? You better know how to read a compass and a map, jackass. You're gonna find yourself in some trouble. You know what I mean? Am I kidding?
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly it. Like they always say, batteries will fail you at the most inopportune time. You better know what the hell you're doing, especially in the air. You know, when we started flying with our nav boards and stuff, that stuff goes out. That's why you have a compass there, dummy.
Yeah. Well,
don't ask silly questions. You know what I mean?
Of course, later on, it got very real. You know, when I was, we'll just say, certain areas of the world, and our GPS is getting messed with. You better know how to use a map.
You better know how to use that thing. So,
but it's more than just it's more than just the basics, though. Don't you think? It's a problem solving exercise,
dude. It's absolutely problem solving.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, because they give you a set of rules and things to follow. You can't run the roads. You can handrail them, which they gave you the keys to the test right there. They gave you the key to the test. Hey man, look on your map. Follow the roads. Handrail them. Don't get within 50 meters of them. Easy enough. You know who taught me that was Fran.
Yeah.
Fran was like, you know, as I kept asking him, I was like, how do you get back unscathed? Your pants still intact. Your blouse still looks good. You're not wet. You hadn't immersed yourself in anything. I was a straight liner. I draw a straight line, and I don't care if it was the draw monster, if it was a swamp. I just walked right through it. I was just that big lug of dude that, hey man, I ain't going right or left.
Right.
And Fran was like, he's like, man, I'm not getting my boots wet.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. And he taught me how he looks at the map, and I mean that was a big help to me. But I think it is about basics, core basics, and knowing what you're doing and problem solving. Absolutely, man, it's absolutely huge.
Yeah,
you got to have that skill.
We talk about it all the time. So it is perishable. You think I give you a map, a protractor, and a compass right now, and you could plot grid coordinates and go?
Absolutely not. I mean, I could get really close. I could possibly. Yeah. You know what? I probably could. You know what? You give me that, and give me. Yeah,
I agree with that.
Pull that out. Then give me 20 minutes.
I just got to figure out: is it left and then up? Is it down and then right? And I'll figure that out. Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. I get it figured out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Guys, if you've ever taken one of my tactical classes, you know I'm a huge fan of white lights. You can't hit what you can't see, and the same goes for the bad guys. Why wouldn't you want to put hundreds, if not thousands of lumens into a bad guy's face? Why would you want him to get a good sight picture back at you? And because of this, we've partnered with Cloud Defensive, the best in the game for both quality and pricing on weapons and handheld flashlights. Their products set the standard for excellence in illumination, ensuring that you're always equipped for success. So go to clouddefensive.com and use promo code Tier1 to get 15% off your next purchase.
Sorry, man, I digressed back
you're
to land nav because I that was just a very important part of the selection process because there were a lot of guys that didn't make it. You had 4 shots at it, and
It's crazy. They teach you everything you need to know. They teach you everything you need to know. And then they'll give you practice runs and make sure that you can apply it. And then to have people still, good dudes go out there.
Yeah.
Some guys would go out there and never find a single point.
No.
And it's just, it really is between the physical aspect of it, the problem solving, the mental aspect of it. It really is a good indicator of who they are as a man.
Yeah, that's it.
Really.
That's it.
All you got to do is do it long enough, and you put them out there in the woods long enough to really separate the men from the boys.
What you explained about them teaching you everything you need to know, letting you, giving you examples and letting you rehearse it, it's going to come into play here in the story we're going to tell about our team week. Because they taught us everything we needed to know to be successful.
Yeah.
And we imploded worse than any team ever up to that point, apparently. And that's what our cadre told us.
And that's
we didn't know to be embarrassed yet until the second time he was like, you guys have got to be the worst Trek team in the history of SF. And we were like, we can't be that bad. It's Brent and Paco. It's Brent and Bo. It's Paco and Bo. It can't be that bad.
It's so funny. But between the two of us, we did everything in the military. We did it. We did it all. And people do come to us and ask us questions, to some degree, as you should. But I think it's always ironic that you don't need to know anything to any school you go to. In fact, it almost doesn't do you any good. It might actually be detrimental.
Yeah, don't G to it.
Every school I've ever been to taught me exactly what I need to know. The only thing I had to do was listen, understand it, and apply it.
That's it.
And you'll pass every school in the whole military.
That's it.
It's not that hard.
It's set up to do that for you.
It's set up
the
to
way
do
it's
that.
set up.
Yeah. Yet it's astonishing.
The failure rate is astonishing, especially when you're already Green Berets and you go do schools. That's even that's the even tougher part. I was part of that. I failed a SODIC MTT in Germany, and couldn't believe it. I was destined to pass that, and become this great sniper, but the Lord didn't see fit for me to pass at that time because I went to SODIC and
I think
did it the second time. So.
I think the ironic thing was always this in selection or SOPC or anything difficult is getting through of a really hard day. Like call it like log PT day. Log PT, rifle PT day. People thrown up in the pit. Pick up your throw up, put it in your pocket. It's just a horrible day.
That was brutal.
And then at the end, someone suffered through that whole thing, and then wait to the very end and be like, "I quit." And I'm like, well. The day's over.
Yeah, the hard
if you're going to quit during the middle of it or at the beginning. Like you've survived to another day. It's just.
It was the nighttime where we'd always hear the duffel bag drag across those
rocks. I forgot. Man, I forgot about that. People who wouldn't want to quit in front of you.
That's it, man. They
So they do
wait
it.
till everybody got in the hooch and.
Yeah, I'm out. You wake up the next day.
Wait till everybody's got their eyes.
Hey, where'd
shut.
that guy go? You go.
Duffel bag drag.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
That's where he went.
So we get to the end of selection.
Yes, sir. God, we start the track.
One of my favorite stories with you, man.
I wanted to make sure we take our time and walk through this thing because I specifically remember when we got that down pilot. They had told us how to tie the lashings with the poles. Mm-hmm. But what did we do? We tied the lashings. The lashings were loose, but instead of it being long ways where we could get 3 people on each side.
That's right.
Remember, we did it this way, like in a line. So it was, you already had 160-pound rock or whatever, 140, whatever it was. It was over 100 pounds in it. Stupid heavy rocks.
Right.
And this guy allows us to continue carrying this down pilot the wrong. And you got some of the bigger guys, all on one shoulder. Instead of having it across your back the way you're supposed to carry like a squat.
Right.
We did it the wrong way. And he allowed us to suffer immensely. And before he finally was like, guys, what the hell are you doing? And this was just the first. This is just the first.
This
We
is
hadn't
the
even
first-
got.
This is the first event.
We hadn't even got far.
I don't
Within
remember-
the first 10 miles or so. We hadn't even got close.
I don't remember what it was.
Brutal.
Exactly what we decided, but I do remember this. We were like, all right, we're every mile we're going to switch out.
Oh.
But our plan was so bad, like 10 minutes into it, the first person caves like, switch me out. And everyone's like, switch us all out.
Yep.
And we're like, oh no, this is bad.
Oh, it's horrendous.
We just started.
At that point, we don't know anything about anything. We're trying to problem solve.
We're trying.
Unfortunately, I remember we had a decent captain at the time. Even with him though, we just didn't have a good plan.
No.
Our plan was never good. The examples that they allowed us to do, I remember tying the lashings. I remember exactly how they told me to tie them, except
Right.
when we got out there to do them, I couldn't remember how to do it.
Well,
I'm like, wait, why is this not working? Why are these poles slipping? And he kept saying, hey, you got this much time. Hurry.
right.
So
Yeah.
when he put us under pressure, then we just made terrible decisions even worse.
Well,
And it
everything in the military
compounded so bad for
up to
us.
that really is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
When you're in the infantry, a plan comes down to you and you just execute that plan. And even if that plan is going bad, you just execute that plan harder. I mean, that's essentially how it's set up. And that's not a hit on the infantry. That's how it should
that's
be.
how it's
That's
supposed
how
to be.
large scale wars gets done. You need someone just to carry out the plan.
Yeah.
And the American infantry does it better than anyone in the world.
Right. That's right.
But when you get to this, it's just different.
Yeah.
And now everything is in special operations is this. This is my end goal. This is my intent. You figure out the best way to get there. And
How to
it really
accomplish it. How do
separates
you want to
people.
accomplish it? That's how you do it. Yeah.
Really separates people. And we
Man.
and we showed early on we needed help with that.
No, absolutely, man. That was, I remember he allowed us to do it, and we ended up suffering through that portion of it, which, it completely deteriorated us for the next event. We kept walking. We did
Right.
all that bullcorn, did all that. Well, here comes the coup de grace.
It's actually a really good point because as we get to one of the final events, we were set up for failure by ourselves.
Oh, yeah,
Because
absolutely.
what should have been an easy event that got progressively harder, the first event crushed us so hard
that's right.
off the bat. We had nothing left in the tank. All due to our own fault. That
We were
it
barely
made-
making hit times, remember? I mean, we were making
Yeah.
it by minutes.
It made the rest of the trek so much harder.
It's the worst. We were absolutely exhausted going to that final event, which was, gosh, I wish it had been the 3-wheel Jeep. That'd have been great for us.
More simple.
Yeah, easy. We could have messed that up. Too bad, could we have?
Well.
It was the telephone poles and the tires.
Yep.
Get the telephone pole back with the 4 tires and the pipes.
Yeah.
And go back to what we were talking about earlier. They told us and trained us how to do it. How do you tie the tires together? How do you use the lashings together so they don't flip flop? How to construct this contraption that's going to carry the telephone pole and your rucksacks if you're smart and get you back with minimal exertion. Well, we decided we didn't want to go that route.
We decided to make a plow.
We did. We made, I'm from Texas. I know what a plow looks like. And we made one a hell of a plow. And it was the worst.
A telephone.
It was the hardest damn thing I think we've probably done together.
For sure.
We've done some pretty rough stuff, but this thing, from the lashings not being tight enough and the wheels, so you put 2 wheels together and you lash them together so they roll as one. Well,
in theory.
On paper, that's how it looks. What we constructed was just a discombobulated apparatus that just had no function whatsoever. I mean, it literally rolled one rotation of the tires before the tires fell. They stopped rotating together and then just turned sideways where they wouldn't roll. And we were pulling this thing, 8 of us with the beams across, with on our arms like this, just walking it through this deep North
Sand.
Carolina awful McCall sand.
Do you
just
think
plowing the road.
you said 8 of us were doing that?
That's right.
You think all 8 of us were doing that
Oh,
the
no,
whole
of
time?
course not. You know that. You remember that. Goodness gracious. Man. Brent and I, at this one point, we're on one of the back beams, and we got these beams dug into our arms. I mean, it's painful, and we have this little guy to my right. Brent's on the inside. I'm in the middle, and this little guy's to the right. And I'm looking at Brent. I'm like, yo, man, look at this guy. And he's got gaps between the bar and his arms, but he's making this face. He's making these sounds like he's exerting his full force. And man, once I showed Brent,
disgusted.
I said, man, what am I supposed to do? I was like, dude, what is it? I don't know. I don't remember exactly what I said. I'm sure it wasn't, very kind, but it was. It was enough to let him know, hey, we see you, jackass. You better get on this bar, or I'm gonna bend you over, put you in my rucksack. We're gonna be one less jackass on this trek.
He wasn't doing anything anyway.
He was making hella good faces, for someone who was struggling. But
he was putting on a show.
Oh, he did.
He was putting on a show. I mean, he looked. If you from afar, he looked like he was just like the rest of us.
Had you been doing it, I would have laughed my ass off. Okay. Had I been doing it, I'd have been laughing at you for allowing me to do that. But because this guy, I didn't know who he was, and he wasn't part of it. I was like,
no. And that's
you better get back on it. And that's where you learned who's who in the zoo, especially in that setting.
And
he was definitely not.
And I'm not too proud. I think I'll make fun of myself. I got a lot of things to make fun of because not everyone was pulling their weight. It caused us other guys to literally put 110% of it. It was breaking us.
No, it did. Absolutely.
People were, we were dehydrated. We had to stop because people were cramping up.
Oh, yeah.
We were falling apart.
By
as a
people
team.
cramping up, I mean there was one I remember specifically, but.
Well,
if you want to, I'll defer to you on that one. I remember that part specifically.
I got no pride here.
It was tragic.
What happened?
Well, most people that were there thought that the first female was going through selection. When they heard this unmanly noise, and I don't want to do it into this microphone, but it was like a 13-year-old high-pitched squeal of a girl who might have seen, her favorite pop star. It literally stopped the entire group because we were not sure if we had just ran over a possum. What did we just do? Who did we hit? Who did we kill? And little did I know, I look over and Brent's grabbing his leg because apparently he's had his was it a hamstring or calf? His hamstring balls up on him and he lets out scream. Oh, I said, you should have been immediately kicked out right then. Just it was in fun though, it was so. Dude, there's no that.
I'm not doubting the story, okay? But I do
you
feel
can't doubt that story.
I feel like that I did something less than manly, but I do feel like over the years the story's grown a little bit. But
do you not remember the high pitched squeal? Do you not remember when people thought the tornado siren went off? I mean, come on, dude. It was so bad. But again, did you quit? Did you succumb to it? No, you muscled through it, which
I do.
Is what it was expected at that point. Because a lot of people were having problems. It wasn't just you, man. I remember that. You weren't the only one that was cramping.
No, I do remember that. It was one of the hardest cramps of my life. I still remember it because you won't let me forget it.
I mean, what are friends for, man?
I said, put it down. And I hobbled one-legged over to like the little bit of embankment.
Yep.
And I just sat there and stretched out. I'm like, hey, and now I don't think I was the first to do it. Maybe I was, it doesn't matter. But it sucks because now we physically can't move forward.
No.
And so now you feel like, well, we're having a hard enough time with the amount of guys we have. Yeah. And you literally just have to sit there and stretch out while everyone's looking at you and be like, we can't move forward because you're weak.
Well, you also remember we had the ammo cans, and we're like, hey, you know what?
Oh, the ammo cans. I forgot about the ammo cans.
So that's why there was only 8 dudes on the pipes.
Yeah.
Because we were letting guys take the easy route and just carry ammo cans.
Yeah. Man,
so we finally were like, hey, we'll just throw all our rucksacks on this contraption. We're plowing it anyways. We might as well just put all that on there and make it easier on us.
Right.
So the people that weren't plowing were, just carrying ammo cans. Very simple. It's very simple task. And that was kind of where we were letting people catch their breath. Some people caught their breath longer than others, but hey.
This, you wouldn't happen to remember the name of that cadre, would you? I have no idea.
If I saw his face, I guarantee I'd know him. He was so disgusted with us.
He was. And
and embarrassed. And
really his job is just to assess us and let us do whatever ridiculousness we're going to do. I think he'd been with us for like 50 hours now. We're towards the end. And at some point he had had enough, which I'm sure, I don't know if he probably would have ever done this before.
He's like, you guys are never going to make it by the hit time. You're never going to make it back.
Right. He goes, come here. You want me to show you how to do it? Just disgusted. We're like, yes. And then when he showed us how to do it, have you ever felt dumber in your life?
No, never. Because it was so simple. We all knew how to do it.
Yeah.
Just in the circumstance.
No problem solving abilities.
No, couldn't bring it back up to the front, man. And
not working. Stop. Reassess.
When he showed us,
that doesn't work. Stop. Reassess.
He was like, guys.
Like, he had to be so frustrated with us. Well, he wasn't real kind verbally to us, nor should he have been. Well, he was very honest with us. What did he say to us?
We were his worst class ever, or we were his worst team ever.
Worst team ever.
In the entire time he's been there, which was almost 3 years. I mean, which tells me, okay, so he's upset. He didn't get on the initial deployments to Iraq or Afghanistan. Yeah. Now he's disgusted so much he doesn't want any of us to pass because he don't want to see any of us downrange.
He doesn't want to deploy with us.
We have no problem solving capabilities. But no, he did say we were the worst ever.
Gosh, there's
up till then, so that was 03.
This could be a 4-hour episode if we just, because we had so much fun during the Q course.
It was great.
So much fun. Even what we just said sounded horrible. We had the time of our life doing it.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what solidified the friendship. We both knew, when everything was down, all the chips were on the table. Guess what? I knew Brent was going to pull through. I knew Bo was going to pull through.
Yep.
That's what we did, and we knew that about each other. And that's what's continued to keep this friendship as close and as tight as it's been for so long.
Yeah.
Even without seeing each other for a decade. Talking every now and again, texting every now and again, checking in on each other.
Yeah.
But not seeing each other didn't matter. Picked right up as soon as we saw each other again. So,
you don't have to. Just anything that jump out at you. You got any phase 2 stories?
Let's think here. Phase 2. Oh man, I've got a good one about Casey Hildreth. God, because he's one of my favorite dudes, and I know you've had him on a podcast or two before. What solidified him and I is that we were in a phase 2 team together, and we were out there freezing in a foxhole together on security. His SIP accent that he has. He's like, hey, Bo, have you ever heard of the most ferocious animal in the animal kingdom? I was like, yeah, buddy, most of us heard of a lion. He goes, no, that's not what I'm talking about. I said, well, I don't know what ferocious animal you're speaking of. And this is, he's dead serious. Looking at me with this look of hey, I'm about to tell you something that you don't know.
Yeah.
And, I'm kind of side-eyeing things like, what in the hell is he going to tell me? He says, in the swamps down south, there is something called a gator snapper. That's exactly how he said it to me. I said, all right, Peter Pan, what are we talking about here? Peter Pan. What are we doing here, man? And he goes on to tell me about this alligator snapping turtle that he calls the most ferocious animal in the animal kingdom. And so this became this thing with him and I.
Yeah.
From that point on, is we always talk about this gator snapper. So we got out, phase 2 and got back to the internets. We got on the line and he showed me one of these things, and I'll be a monkey's uncle. You come close to one of these guys, it is going to be the most ferocious thing you've ever seen. I want to say that he found a video of this thing. They put some chicken on both sides of a telephone pole.
Okay.
And this thing just took it right in half. And so that's always been the funny joke with me and Casey. I'll tell everybody now that I know the most ferocious animal in the animal kingdom. So that was one of the great things that came out of phase 2.
It's so crazy the things you talk about when you're in a security position for hours out in the middle of the woods with nothing else to talk about, with a man that you don't really know yet. Well, you're about to get to know him.
That was the beauty of out there with Casey. So this, it was pretty much the same time. I get the whole spiel about the X-rays. He's like, "Man, what do you think about these X-rays, Bo?" I'm like, "Oh man, they're the worst." So me and him go on this long tirade about the X-rays.
You always do that. You pull people in.
Well, how did he not know I was an X-ray? How did it look? I'm older.
Right.
I'm older than him.
Right.
He just thinks I came from the regular Army, and that's the way it is. Because I didn't meet Casey till we got to phase 2.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there forever, man. I'm just letting him just dog us out. I mean, he's dogging us out, and I'm laughing. I'm like, "Oh man, those turds! I can't believe it." They're like, there's little droids,
Yeah.
And I don't remember at what point it got to, but I had asked him a question that kind of tipped him off, and he's looked at me. He's like, "No." He's like, "No,
You're one of them."
He's like, "You're one of them." I said, "Yeah," but he goes, "No, yeah, man, yeah." So that's another dude that I met during the pipeline. That to this day, if I called this guy or if he called me, I would be there in 2 seconds. Wouldn't ask any questions. Like, "Hey, man, where do we need to bear this thing?"
Just a classic case of whose car are we taking?
Man. Incredible dude, man. Love him to death.
Yeah.
Got to see him a couple other schools after that. I caught him at sniper school at Sodic. What else did we hit? We hit something else together post pipeline, but that was great stuff. And I'll end the pipeline piece before we get to the sear piece of this. One of the stories I'll tell that also really nailed down in one evening who Brent is to Bo. It was when we were in Raleigh that night, and I got jumped. Brent and I had been hanging out that night with Teddy P. Teddy had gone back to the Teddy P. He went back to the hotel early. You had disappeared, like you do sometimes, which was awesome back then because that's what we did, man. We just long story short, I'm walking back by myself. These 3 guys approach and said I said something to them, which I didn't, and end up getting into a tussle. One of them ends up kicking me in the side of the head, knocks me out, and guys from across the street see it, come over, break it up. Well, we text Brent because back then that's pretty much all we had was cell phones that text. It wasn't we didn't have the good ones. I think we were the Nokia 901s or 903s. But in this story, what I want you to focus on is I'm sitting outside. I've got these claw marks where this dude had scratched me because I was dropping bombs on this guy on the ground until I would try to get up. And as I got up, that dude boots me from the side. Sit on the curb, and we had texted Brent probably 2-3 minutes prior, and you look down this main street, and there's a dude without a shirt on, looks like he's barefooted, hauling ass. I mean, he looks crazy, looks like a crazy person. We don't know who it is at the time, but as he got within, eye shot of me, I was like, "That's Brent." All we did was say, "Bo just got jumped, need help." Whoever he was with, wherever he was at, whatever was going on, I have no idea. He dropped whatever he was doing and hauled ass directly back to where his buddy was in trouble. So that was it. That was it, man. The day you hit my circle was then, and you haven't been out since, man. That's just something that not every person does, And to me, that was again, that was a monumental point in our friendship. That's just solidified how important you are. So. Again, it showed everybody, especially to me, who Brent is, and all the funny and nonsense stuff aside, that's beyond serious, man.
Yeah.
That's next level to me. So again, awesome stuff, man.
I remember that, and I remember the pressure I put on myself. I haphazardly, see the text message, throw on some clothes, and I'm gone. And I run as fast as I can for as hard as I can. And I'm in probably the best shape of my life.
Oh, yeah.
But you can only do that for so long. I don't run a 4-minute mile, And so I remember my heart, I have to stop and walk physically. And then I remember stopping and walking and being like, Bo needs you. Like, you can only walk for as little as possible. And it's time to pace yourself to get there, but I couldn't pace myself because I wanted to get there so bad. So it was just.
I never saw you walk, man.
Run as fast as you can. Walk for about 5 steps. Run as fast as you can for however long it took me to get to you.
Wasn't long, brother. Wasn't long. That's kind of how you draw it up, you know. When you holler for your boys, like news team assemble.
Oh gosh, we would.
But that was it, man. Those are the stories that you know encapsulate the time we spent together in what we call the pipeline. You know, before you know became who before we became who we were.
Yeah.
I'd redo that.
Okay.
That was terrible.
Say it again.
That's how we became who we were is at that time. So
for sure. The Q course is so because it's so long, and there are some of the most physically demanding things. Some of up for 48 hours, this, that. Then there's the academic times.
Oh yeah,
and the academic times are tough. Yep. Like they're collegiate level classes that you were taking on antenna theory, wave propagation, all these crazy things. Yet you also make time to do it right.
Yeah. And
party really hard with
free
your boys.
Time. Is that free time? You know, that's what you and I worked for. It seemed like, hey man, let's get this done. Yeah. 4:30, train's leaving.
That's right. It's big boy rules. It's the beginning of big boy
Myrtle
rules.
or Wilmington? Yep. It was big boy rules. So absolutely.
Do whatever you want on the weekend. Party as hard as you want. Don't get in any serious trouble, and be prepared to do it all over again Monday.
All the trouble that you and I created was self-inflicted. That was, it wasn't anything. We never got into trouble. We just, we were trouble basically.
Yeah. I'm 45. No change.
We, I think you and I talked about this the other day. It was a 4-day weekend. We were supposed to be back for, formation Tuesday morning, 06, ready to PT. And you and I are driving home from Myrtle Beach, 4 a.m. Like I said, we showed up, missing a sock on one foot, maybe had 2 different shoes on, face is bleeding because we were dry shaving in the truck, just wearing nasty old PTs, but we made it. That's what we did, man.
Literally straight into formation.
Straight to formation.
Speeding the whole way.
The entire way.
Because we left at the last second.
You couldn't have left 1 minute later or we wouldn't have made it.
You parked, we ran to formation right at fall in.
That was it, man.
And everyone looked at us like, what
is that smell?
Have
you 2 Tasmanian devils? What is that?
Been doing?
Pay no attention to whatever that is. That cloud of bourbon film or Miller Lite, whatever that was. So.
Gosh,
no man.
Some of the best times of my life, and it makes the best friends of your life,
man. We tell these all day long.
And that was language school. Language school was a blast. And then. Last thing we have to do to go to our teams, go to war, which is all we wanted to do. We didn't want to party in a weird way.
No.
I mean,
but not at that point.
We did because there's nothing else you could do.
Yes, sir.
But hey, I think we would have worked 7 days a week in the Q course to graduate sooner to go to war.
No, absolutely.
You agree with that?
No.
But yeah, not even.
Man, if I didn't have to wait 2 weeks to go from 3 to 4, hey, give me the weekend. I'll be ready to go on Monday.
Yeah.
Don't give me 2 weeks off. I don't need that.
So SEER is the last thing we have to do, and I remember you telling me that that why SEER was important to you.
Very important.
Why is
that? Very important. So my grandfather and his brother, they were in the 143rd Texas Infantry, Company M. In World War II, they both got captured. In Italy, marched up into Germany, and were both POWs for, his younger brother, I think it was 20 months is what's on record, and my grandfather's was 22, almost 23 months. So there was a lot of meaning there. I mean, that man was one of the reasons that I ended up looking into the military. Nobody knew that he had pulled me aside twice in my life and said, Darrin, I see in you what it takes to be a soldier. He said, that's what you should join the Army. It was at my high school graduation. It's when the first time he told me, and the second time was my college graduation. The third time we discussed it was the last time I spoke to him. He fixed my SUV so I could drive out to Virginia for a job, and he died a couple weeks later on the operating table. But it just, I have so much, I don't want to call it regret, but I wish I had been more inquisitive about things that he experienced. It didn't make sense until I got out of there and was like, man, I have got 8 of his handwritten POW letters at my house.
That's crazy.
No, it's incredible. I mean, I read them probably, gosh, every 2-3 months maybe. I'll just pull one out just to read it, just because, man. That's true life history, you know, and that's.
Right. That's a piece of American history.
No, it's great.
Not just family history. That's American history.
I have reached out to the POW museum in Tampa.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, you know, if your nephews don't want to remain in custody of them, we will put them on display, you know, at our museum. So I'll probably end up doing that at some point. But I circle back to my dad and his brother, both Texas National Guard airborne troops. You know, my mom's dad was in the Navy. My mom's brother, my Uncle Wayne, big influence in my life, big hero of my life.
Yeah.
2 deployments to Vietnam. Then you have my grandfather and his brother, and you know, then you have his great grandfathers who were in the Civil War. I mean, I had this all the way through my life.
Right.
He saw it, and I never saw it in myself until he's gone. 9/11 happens, and it's like, okay, Lord, I see. I finally see what you're saying. I'm you know, a little slow. you know, thanks for making it abundantly clear now that, you know, this is the direction I need to go. So that's kind of, you know, I know we were talking about SEER, but the reasoning behind me joining solely lies on conversations that stuck in my head from my grandfather, who was a, you know, POW during World War II.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was the experience I think we had was different. I remember you know, some of the intimate portions of it that were terrible for us, but you know, in contrast to what he endured, it's nothing. It's absolutely nothing.
He endured it for real.
Yeah.
I mean, they made it as realistic as possible, and they did a great job of that. But you can never duplicate it.
No, not like that. So
yeah.
Thanks for letting me circle back to that. That was a big reason. I mean, that's the ultimate reason. You know, that I decided to move that direction, and you know, without asking, I didn't ask my dad, my brother, my mother. Just did it. You know, very similar story. I knew what needed to be done, and I was like, hey, you know.
It's funny. You can fight something for you can fight something for a long time, but and if you're fighting it to some degree, maybe it's because you're still not ready for it. But it is real unique that just that clarifying moment that when you know, and now there's no fighting. No. It's time to go, and it usually seems the answer is so clear. And then it makes you wonder, well, why was I fighting this the whole time? But it's true because it wasn't God's time yet.
Yeah, that's right. All right. His timing is always perfect, not ours.
We got our Green Berets, and we got pictures.
Drew, pull those pictures up. No, I'm kidding.
Don't
show anybody that.
We got pictures of me and you at our Green Beret graduation.
It was our dawning ceremony, man.
Looking young, innocent, naive, proud.
Scared.
All those are true.
Just, I mean, almost yellow, man. Just so young.
It's crazy, and we were about to get what we wanted.
Yeah,
which is we were like a dog chasing a car. We were about to get what we wanted, and it didn't take you long. You got assigned to 10th group.
That's right. Tell you how that worked. Jamie Vinoy, you remember Jamie V?
I do remember Jamie V.
I'm supposed to link up with him here. Excuse me. In November, he's going to be in Austin. I'm going to shoot down to see him. He had 110, and you know, he had just had I think his second daughter. He didn't want to go. He's like, "Bo, is there any chance?" I was like, "Yeah, man. If you can change it for me, I'll go to 110." So that's how
I didn't know that's why you went to 110.
Jamie Vinoy had a friend at whatever level, sergeant major somewhere, that was able to switch our assignments. So that's how I got 110. And
I did not know that. And so tell them about 110, 210, 310, and
okay. So 110 is the forward deployed. It's the forward deployed battalion for 10th Special Forces Group. Second and third were, you know, back at Fort Carson in Colorado Springs.
Right.
And later on would add fourth battalion.
Forward deployed at
Stuttgart, Germany.
Yeah. Okay.
Panzerkaserne. Man, great place. Loved it. Incredible.
Of course, the GWAT changed a lot of things, but what's 10th group's traditional mission? AO mission. Why they enjoy?
What are we? Eastern Europe and the stands. But when I got there, I went to Bosnia a couple times. We finished out some stuff out there.
Okay.
But my next deployment was Niger. Niger was never on my list of 10th Group AO, but things were always evolving the entire time I was at 110.
Yeah.
I got called back early from Niger because we were supposed to get into an Iraq rotation.
Okay.
Within the train up for that, our dep orders came back and it's Afghanistan. All right.
Yeah.
So
war's war. Where you need
hey man, that's pretty much it.
But that being said, Iraq at the time was the sexier war.
Oh,
that's a weird way to describe it, but it's. But
it was 05. So
Yeah.
that was early on. That was hot potatoes. But I got all I wanted.
That's right.
The amount of times I went, so I got all I wanted. But at the time, I didn't know what I didn't know. That first trip to Afghanistan, I had come out of the team had deployed without me. I was coming out of sniper school, and I literally flew into Germany, grabbed my gear, what I needed, with me, and flew into country. And day 3, we're taking a route, that hadn't been open in 2 years, just because it cut so much time off. But I guess that some Frenchies got scarfed up and a couple dudes got beheaded and whatnot. So they're like, hey, route, let's say Georgia, it's closed. We're not messing with it. Our team sergeant with the Charlie Company guy, and I say guy, that's a terrible way to say this. I don't like using their names, but this dude was one of the best of the best. Dan, I'll call him, and Ted was my team sergeant, who became one of the highest ranking NCOs that you can get. He was the command sergeant major of the 1st Special Forces Regiment. That's what my team sergeant turned into. So these two guys made a decision, hey, we're not driving 5 hours around this thing, we're driving through it. So day 3 in country, we're driving down this route. Man, we got shellacked. And I'm driving the first truck, so guess what? When the ambush starts, I'm trying to figure out what the hell's happening. I'm driving, and I'm hearing those RPGs across the hood, underneath, into the tire. It was like, and then the side of the mountain was right there on the side of the road, and it's blowing up. So all the guys behind us, they're slow rolling it, thinking that we're down.
Right.
Well, I just pulled the Jake. It's not the Jake brake on the inside; it's the Jake gas pedal. You pull it, and it just keeps a consistent movement.
Right.
So I could, try to, get my feet squared away and make sure everybody was good in the truck. And that was the day I realized, and I don't want to say be careful what you wish for. You're going to get it. You don't know when, but you better be prepared. So you need to train. That's when everything switched for me. Was I'm going to be the most prepared soldier I can be every time I step out of the hooch or walk this gate, because you'd never know when this is going to be one that it didn't end up ending, badly for any of us. Took a little damage to the truck, not a big deal. But it was just super slow-mo like you see in the movies for me. The tree limbs were breaking out of the little orchard, and I'm like, what the hell? Then my gunner's sitting there just letting it rip. Yeah. Then the guy we talked about earlier, Gabe, he's back there letting it rip. We just got this, this was the first time that some meat eaters had come back down this thing and said, hey, whatever you got, we got something better. Ended up doing some BDA after we got through the ambush. There was 7 or 8, dead Talon back there, but that's when I knew, man. That was day 1 I knew, or day 3, and it was, okay, man, here we go. I am going to be ready for this.
2 things about that. Mm-hmm. 1, I hate when something bad happens in an area and they go, okay, off limits.
Yeah, but
that's great.
That's a win for them.
That's right. You can't secede territory to the bad guys. That means they've won.
That's right.
In fact, that's where we need to focus all of our resources at. As well as I do how hard it is sometimes we go looking for bad guys. And then when we find them, someone above wants to go, nah.
No.
Let's
Oh, yeah.
look for them somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like that's
course.
crazy to me. So I already love the mentality of your team. Like no surprise there. But the reality of combat, which I think is this: when we're in the Q course and we're in training, in our minds, the only thing you ever think about is coming out on top. Like getting hurt, losing. Like that's not an option.
No.
Just the glory of combat and coming out on top is the only option in your mind.
That's it.
And then it happens for real, and you realize,
Yeah.
well, the enemy gets a vote too.
Yeah,
You know?
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they do.
And of course, the good
The
guys
variable, they got their own variable.
now accept that and continue to move forward. But we've
Okay.
all seen guys who have come to that realization and have decided, no, maybe this isn't for me.
Yeah,
Doesn't
yeah.
mean they quit. They should, but they quit. They quit in combat. They quit pressing the enemy.
You know, I'm going to leave this story for us post podcast, but you know, we can move forward into the you know, where we settle down. So what we were doing, we were driving around looking for places to affect. You know, hey, we're gonna move somewhere because we were up in Kabul without a home. Like, hey, let's go find somewhere we can co-locate with. So that's when we ended up getting into the Tagab.
Yep.
With some of the, listen, man, I'm going to take a few seconds to boast on these guys from the 82nd Corps Lurs. They were already embedded down there. They had set up a place called Pathfinder, which after we got there and started laying the scunion, we changed the name to Badge Finder. Yeah, I hope those guys like that because that's exactly what happened. But these 82nd Corps Lurs guys, you're talking P2s, 3s, specialists.
Yeah.
Then you had a handful of E5s and 6s. Then you had one, you know, E7 that was just a stud. Then you had a first sergeant or two and a commander. And I don't know if I can use this guy's name. I would get really, you know, hesitant to. But at the time, I mean, this was almost 20 years ago. So he was at the time Captain Hollis. And this guy had no business being there. He should have been with us on our side of the fence. I mean, not that our captain was bad, but this guy, you know, he wasn't afraid to put his initials out there and let's get after it.
Yeah.
And it was a thing of beauty. I mean, these guys came and you know, I don't want to say rescued us, but anytime we called Kiev, man, those guys were there in a heartbeat and they were getting their gun on.
Love it.
Oh, I mean, it was incredible. So all you 82nd Corps Lurs guys that were on that trip, 07, 08, yeah, we still talk about what you guys did for us. So I'll be forever grateful for that.
I love it that you said that because
You're incredible.
there's some people out there that want to. It seems like they want to start a fight that just isn't there. This special forces versus conventional, like we look down on them, and you know, and they don't like us because we're, you know, we talk about, you know, we're glory seekers, and they're like, hey, like you aren't the only ones in combat, buddy. Which, but the truth is, most of us, not you, you're an 18 X-ray. We came from the conventional army. We respect it. It's what they gave us, and the conventional army helped us out so much. And it's to some degree just a different role in combat. And we absolutely respect them and what they can bring to the fight.
I always found it was counterproductive to treat people less than you. How I went at it, you know, the cool things that I would do is, you know, I look back on it and was like, you know, call me Bo. You know, don't call me Sergeant. Don't need that bull crap. No. But they had to keep their bearings about them. And I was like, oh man, don't do that. Well, I should have been the one that said, you know, hey, that's cool. You know, call me what you will. That, you know, if it's going to help him stay in line, because if, you know, he goes back to the chow hall and he starts calling people by their first name, he's going to get scuffed up.
Right.
So, these guys, man, just the amount of experience they had for some, you know, for guys to call them regular Army guys, like,
Yeah.
they've got far more experience than you, and you're an SF dude, so, you know, shut your pie hole. You know, you may want to ask them some questions about this place, because guess what? They've been here and they've done that. So,
Yeah.
maybe we treat everybody with a little bit more respect, a little more kindness. I just found that in the military world, that's what gets things done a little better than being that a-hole that comes in and just obnoxious and dumb. Like, man,
Right.
Do you know? You watch too many movies. Get out of here. You're not
Right.
You're not drill instructor Hartman. Get out of here, you goon.
And we're our best recruiters, and we know who we want to come work with us.
Yeah.
So that's why would you have these guys with a lot of experience who clearly are wired right, if you want to say it that. Yeah. And if you're jerks to them, why would they be like, I never want to be that guy? Why would they ever want to be a Green Beret?
Brent, you nailed it. We had several guys from that trip, from that unit, come to our side.
Love it.
Because of it. And I've talked to several of them, still great dudes, just, got into SF and same things, man. It was because of the trip that they got to do with us. We didn't treat them terribly. We shared so my mom would send us all kinds of care packages.
Yeah.
We had half of our hooch that was just full of stuff.
Yeah.
These guys weren't getting anything. I'd run those guys through there. Like, get what you want, man. Take what you want, get out of here.
They're
help
fellow
yourself.
Americans.
This is great, But again, I think it, they deserve far more than the 2 minutes we just gave them. But, they're incredible dudes. And, treat people with the same amount of respect that you expect. I think there's something in the Bible about that.
Yeah.
So let's fast forward, man, to one of the bad days. It's one of the good guys. We lost one of the good guys. We had done something called Commando Fury 1. We had linked up with Third Group. That's when I ran into Scary Terry. And man, we started at the north end of the Tagab, and man, we just drove south. I don't know, 20 something clicks and just destroyed dudes. Gotten ticks all day, just, taking them out, left and right as long as we could. Nobody gets hurt, no one gets injured. A couple of A&A may have got, scuffed up a little, but, the Third Group got to come in with some pipe-hitting commandos.
Yep.
That's not who we inherited.
Yeah.
We inherited a handful of guys that, could hold their own, but it wasn't everyone. Some of these guys were scared to death. We got in a gunfight and they're hiding behind the vehicle, looking around like, what do I do? But these commandos come in and they're legit. These guys were all over it. So again, 3 days down, we turned around and come back and, we're in a 29 vehicle convoy. The front of the convoy was already breaking gate before we had made that turn and got ambushed. So these guys waited for the very last vehicle, which was Pat's vehicle. And we came to a horseshoe. And as they got into the horseshoe, I'm going to tell this story the way I remember it. Now, if it's, chronologically off by minutes or something, okay. But my gunner, Destin, he thought he saw somebody on this building. So what he thought he saw was head come up, head go back down.
Yeah.
And he's focused on it. And about 2 seconds later, that RPG got off. Nobody knew what had happened because we're turning the corner going straight and they didn't make the corner and they went this way through a field. So when we stopped to go find them, they're not behind us. It took us a bit to find them. It's an absolute no-no as a driver. Put the thing in park, grabbed my gun, dismounted, told the guy in the back seat, get in the front. You drive this where it needs to go. And then me and let's see, who was there? Adam Jennings, J-Dam as I call him. And I linked up, and then we run into our team sergeant, Ted, who's in bad shape, and Tom, who was the gunner at the time. We don't see Pat. And they're telling us where this thing is, and we're like, that can't be right. I'll be a monkey's uncle, sure as shit. It was about 50 more meters across this field, you call it, like, a farmer's field. But you know how they have those divots that help run water? Well, this thing made it over those things and hit on the embankment. Get there and pull Pat out, and he's obviously in distress. He's unconscious. Adam and them working. We're in a gunfight. But kind of want to encapsulate everything. So when I get back to the truck, at one point, I'm looking at Tommy's injuries. He just took shrapnel from his waist down. So the RPG comes in over the passenger side door, that small piece of thin metal.
Yep.
Boom, right through it. Hits the middle console. So Ted takes the brunt of that in his face. His nose is laid over on his cheek. He's, beard just pouring blood. Pat is out there being worked on. Ted's asking me to look at his face, at this point, because he had wandered back to where Pat was. And I swung my gun, with the light on, up by his face, and I didn't recognize him as a human. The way his eye was so swollen.
Yeah.
I could barely see the slit. I'm in the truck trying to find all the sensitive items because I'm going to have to Z this thing and we're going to thermite it. And I find his nods, cup up, full of blood. And I'm thinking, man, maybe his eyeball's in there.
Yeah.
So I, did a little finger job in there. And it, obviously wasn't there, thank God. But just the absolute mess that happened to his face and arms and chest and everything from that initial explosion was insane. So you'd have thought he was the one that was probably going to be in dire straits. Yeah. Pat, we can't find anything on him. We can't find anything. We rolled him over. We cut all his stuff off. And when they rolled him the second time, you heard a little bit of gurgling, like he had some blood in his lungs or something. And that's when we saw that little bitty cut behind his shoulder blade. So what ends up happening is this little piece of fragmented radio shoots behind his shoulder blade, right through, clips his aorta, and comes out, right over here, and he bleeds to death.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Not a thing. Okay. If we would have had a heart surgeon on the, on the objective with us, we don't know that he could have saved him. But, for a young team, we're all young E6s. It's our first actual combat deployment. Most of us are 6s. Destin was a 7. Ted, obviously, an 8. But none of us had been to combat. None of us had experienced that. We had experienced a lot of gunfights where we kicked the crap out of some dudes, Yeah. But this one was backwards. And we ended up losing Pat. There was, the next 3 days were devastating, man. You had guys contemplating whether they wanted to be team guys any longer. I mean, there was just, I think that's normal. I think you think about, hey, this has now become absolutely real. It has hit us closer than it's ever going to hit us.
Right.
And now we have to make a decision. About 24 hours later, my questioning of things turned to, you got here by not quitting, jackass. What are you going to do? You're going to re-up while you're here, and you're going to stay in the fight, and you're going to continue doing what God put you on this earth to do. Yeah. So I made the decision there, and I think several other guys did too. But I know it was hard. It was hard for a lot of us. I think some other guys, decided, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe, coming out here and maybe I don't want to put my family through this because, I don't know.
And
I've not been on that side of the receiving end of someone coming to my door and telling me that a loved one has been killed in action. I can't imagine the devastation that happens when that happens. But
as long as they do what they're supposed to do during that day, and if they want to come back home and make that decision, I'm fine with it. Yeah. And in fact, I encourage it because I want to know everyone to my left and right is bought in.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and so there's actually no shame. I've seen that happen before as well, and I've never thought less of those people unless they quit on the objective. Sure, well, that's a different story. But hey, it's just the reality of war. You don't know it until it happens to you.
Yeah, absolutely. The rebound portion of that was tough, man, because we lost our team sergeant. We lost Pat. We lost one of our senior, Charlie. I say senior. So Tom was an E6, like Joe, but I think Tom had more time in the military. So that kind of, not that we ever used junior senior type stuff. I think that's one of the dumb things that that was something that we had to navigate at times. everyone to call my junior. And that was, unless I was messing with him, it wasn't like everywhere we go, this is silly.
Yeah, so come here, junior. But that's more messing with them too. But
now Tommy's gone, team sergeant's gone, and Pat's dead. So, the rest of the trip was
brings you down. You kind of brings you down, guys, to a skeleton crew.
Oh man, they
plus you back up.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
They sent us some decent pipe hitters, man. To be honest with you, they sent us some good pipe hitters. Chris came or Christopher. Let's see, we were placed Pat with a guy that's one of my still to this day dear friends who I went into business with at one point, Drew White. Funny story about that guy. He shows up just out of Ranger school. He's tiny. Just looks. I'm like, what is this guy doing here? But
right.
He's a new guy. Came from Ranger school. Didn't ask him about that. Growing up, his dad and General Repass were tight. Roommates in college. So Drew grew up going on father-son camping trips with General Repass, right?
Right.
So, funny story. Let's fast forward to, we tell Drew, hey, man, shut up, don't say a word. Just, listen to Destin. What Destin tells you to do, that's it. That's all you do. So, we're about to be in formation. Guess who's coming to see us?
General Repass.
Because we don't let Drew talk, we don't know this. So, we're like, stay out of sight. Don't say anything. Great story, man. Great story.
Yeah.
So, there we are all standing tall, waiting for the man, and he's asking for Drew.
Yeah.
And we're all like, who the hell is Drew? So Drew's duffel bag comes flying out, and all I see is DWHIT. So I'm calling him Dwight. It was D. White. So I'm calling him Dwight. And we're looking around for a Drew, right? And I think everybody else probably knew by that time.
Right.
Well, here comes Drew out of the bathroom. Hair a mess. He's got his fleece jacket on, Ranger panties, flip-flops.
Yeah.
Because he just went to the restroom. General Repass looks over and is like, hey, Drew. Drew goes, oh, hey.
Yeah.
This is General Repass.
Yeah.
We're all sitting there going, you got to be kidding me. So after they do their hugs and handshakes and all their cool guy stuff, we're sitting there going, and I walked over to him. I said, dude, you got to tell us that. You can't. You got to send a pigeon. You got to send us a note. I don't care. A tattoo, something.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been one of the best stories that me and him get to share every time we get together.
It's at least email worthy if you feel like you really can't talk.
I mean, buddy, write it on a target. I don't care. But that was one of those cool times that, kind of solidified Drew and I's relationship out of that. But the end of the trip, man, I ended up going home early. I went to freefall school. So I ended up leaving in February, and I re-linked up with everybody back in Stuttgart after that.
Okay.
Got to go home and see Pat's family and stuff and discuss everything that went down. And, I don't want to make this turn it negative, but I think the Army has a way of explaining things to parents and spouses, not deceitfully, but not getting the story correct. It is incumbent upon you to get this thing absolutely correct. So when you tell them, they understand what happened.
Yeah.
So when I go there to tell them, they ask me what happened, and I'm like, what did they tell you? And I listened to the story that they told. I'm like, oh man, now I'm going to be the bad guy because I have to explain that. No, unfortunately, that's not exactly how it went down. Did that event happen? Yes, but not when he was killed. That is not how it went down. He did not get to fight back. He was driving the vehicle and he didn't get back up in the turret and return fire and smoke dudes. But that was the story that was relayed to them.
Right.
They took a couple of stories basically is the way that they explained it to me was that, hey, here's what they said happened. And the way I took it was, okay, they took an event here, an event here, an event here, and they put it together to make it was a really nice story what they told him, but it wasn't how he passed, unfortunately. And I think the Army got into a bad habit of telling bad stories to parents.
When we owe them the truth.
No, that's absolutely, that was
No matter
it.
how good or bad, they just want the truth.
You do understand, he died a hero. No
right.
matter what you
That's
say
right.
is going to make it any better or worse. He died a hero.
Yeah.
So don't muck it up
Right.
with a lie.
Right. Because now they're going to have to live through it, the death twice.
Yes, man.
What they thought was the death the first time, and now they have to relive the death with new information.
Yeah, and tough, man, tough stuff. I a lot of things about military I loved, and there were a lot that I didn't.
Yeah.
And that's one of them. So
It was good that I remember that. I don't remember why I was at Bragg at the time, but we got to meet up at Anthony's house because he had you guys over.
Oh, that's right. Yes,
and,
sir. Yep.
Met you over there. Got to see you during that time. That meant a lot to me to be able to at least see you and be with you during.
That was a tough one, man.
During that, it was tough. It was tough watching your team, to be honest with you, because you know what a team is supposed to act like and look like, and the brotherhood.
Yeah, man.
And teams get together and they just have fun, generally speaking, and that. The team was going through a lot.
Oh, it was a tough one. It was a brutal timeline there. Relinked up with everybody. After I got back from Halo school, we were getting back into training up for the next rotation.
Yeah.
Well, this is where Army gets me for the first time good.
Yeah.
New Sergeant Major comes in. I'm not going to use his name. I will not say his name. They send me to Carson for broken axle at the time, whatever the hell it was. While I'm there, he pulls all the senior dudes off of all the teams that are about to deploy and makes a badass B team is what he did. So he took me off of 2-1. He took Adam J-Dam off of 2-1. And he takes two of the best guys off of 2-3, Josh and Adam.
That's crazy.
I'm sorry, Josh and Robin. And then Timmy P. So funny story. We're sitting there looking at all of the ODAs and all the capabilities that each of them have. So you go through 2-1 now that they don't have anybody. They don't have any schools barely. 2-2, 2-3, 2-4, 2-5, 2-6. And they get to the B team and we are schooled out. Right. And the team sergeants are like, whose bright idea was this? Well. Wow. The B team sergeant had a bad trip the first time and didn't get a lot of comments because he had new guys that couldn't help. So he thought, hey, why don't I get some guys who know what's going on?
Right.
Well, we ended up becoming the fighting B team, the combat B team. It was a long deployment. We were the B team. We were.
You want to talk about an overcorrection? Just an overcorrection.
Tough one. But I went and worked for a guy that I didn't mind. Tom was a good dude. It made his life a lot easier. I mean, he didn't have to go with us on many things. We were doing things on our own, that kind of thing. We still got to go help out, do some operations with some folks. But where it got me was, I was told when I got back from that school, I would go back to 2-1 because I extended a year to stay on 2-1 and go back down range and get my gun on again, and try to make things right in my mind. But while I'm there, all that happened, and I called Ted, and I was like, Ted, the only reason I extended was, because I was promised by the Sergeant Major that I'd stay on 2-1, and then after that, I'd come back to Carson. Ted calls over there, and the guy was like, nah, man, all bets are off. What's happened's happened. So then he said, I'll make it easy for you, Bo. And this new Sergeant Major says, I'll give you any school you want at the end of the trip. I said, okay. What do you think I got at the end of the trip?
Whatever you wanted.
Nothing. Nothing. Because you know what he said at that point?
What's that?
If I give you the school, you're going to owe 110 2 more years. I said, okay. So he's one of the guys on the list of people that are going to get punched in the nose. And it's like you and I talked about. You know why.
Right.
You know why.
Yes,
I don't have to say anything.
Absolutely.
You did absolutely the opposite thing of what anybody in a leadership position has taught me to this point. And he didn't care about it. He didn't care. Just, that it's things like that trickle up into the leadership positions that it's cancerous for SF, man. It is cancerous. I wish it hadn't happened, but it did. And that's, long story short, that the best thing happened to me on that trip.
Really?
Good friend of mine from my early days on 2-1, Andy Mayer, is doing a rotation to find people to come and work for the dogs, to work for on the canine team. And I had one of two options after that trip. Go stand up 4th Battalion. No thanks. Or go to SWIC, because I had enough deployments and time, 36 months at 110.
Yeah.
Well, not doing that one either. And thank God, like it always works out, the Lord says, I've got these doors that I'm going to close for you. Here's one that's opening.
Yeah.
Go be a dog handler. I'll do it. So I told him, I said, yeah, man, when do I show up? Let me know. And that was the introduction to me and the Dean of Mean. It's the best thing in the world, bro. Best thing in the world. And the way that it happened is, I'd like to, if we could stop here so I can gather myself, because it's kind of hard to talk about the.
Take as much time as you need.
The hard part, Brent, is at the time I didn't understand, because I walked into the kennel when I got to 10th Main, and there was a spare dog sitting there that nobody wanted. He said he had a bugaboo with floors. I said, okay. So, I ended up taking the dog that nobody wanted. At the time, I didn't know what it would mean to me at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
I used to think, crying was weakness, but it's not. It just meant I loved heavily.
Yeah.
And I love that dog, man. More than you know. And just the fact that the Lord said, I'm going to allow these guys not to see the potential in this dog for Darrin to get there and take him. It meant a lot, man. It meant a lot. I didn't see it. Like I said, man, I never see it at the time. Never saw it. Not until later on in the progression of our time together. But
you were with that dog for years, weren't you?
a decade. I think for a decade, man.
And as a green beanie, you had that dog
3 years. I had him for 3 years. We
did everything together.
Yeah, I mean, we did one of the most incredible deployments. With
the unit.
Yeah.
Did a unit
Over there,
rotation,
man.
combat rotations. You jumped out of an airplane.
We jumped out of an airplane together.
At what
15,
altitude?
I mean,
15,000 feet
Easy
for a
day.
missile strapped to your
man.
chest.
That was one of the good ones.
And he didn't care, did he?
No,
he was
man.
with Dad. He didn't care.
Didn't care. And that, again, circles back to nobody wanted him. If you'd gone out and spent 2 minutes, and this is what happened. One of the handlers said, hey, we'll just get you working with the spare. I was like, what's a spare's name? It was Dino. Okay. So I took Dino out in the yard, started doing OB with him. It was 5-10 minutes. I walked in and said, that's my dog. I said, that ain't a spare dog. I said, that's my dog. Me and him. We're gonna run this. We're gonna run this thing.
You could change that moniker right now.
That was the name of it. That was the end of it. The name of the game then was, we're gonna become the best, and I'm gonna show everybody. You're not a spare. You weren't. You didn't have a bugaboo, which you did. I finally saw it after a long time of them telling me.
Yeah.
So what happened was, he went from one surface to another that he was unfamiliar with. So he'd get down about an inch off the ground, just kind of low crawl.
Yeah.
Said he's just making sure he knows what he's doing. That's all. Just, making sure he's got sure footing.
Yeah.
But I saw it twice. Once when he got on a C-17, he got hurt in Afghanistan, and we had to fly out and getting on the back of it. I guess he put his foot on a couple of pieces of sandpaper, and he was like, did the Dino low crawl, but it wasn't ever at a point where it was going to get anybody hurt. I just think that again, the Lord allowed all them to see a dog that wasn't worth their time, or didn't have what they thought it took, but turns out became one of the best of the best. So it was the best time ever.
Would it be an accurate statement to say that at the beginning it would look like you saved that dog? He was a spare, and you saved him from being a spare. And at the end, that dog saved you.
Oh, Brent, absolutely. It's a perfect way to say it. Yeah, it's a perfect way to look at it. The things that he helped me deal with, not just during deployments, but after. I took him home after when he got hurt in 2012. Could never figure out why. Couldn't figure out what happened. He just had a limp that, we always said, hey, when a dog's when a dog's life has gone from this level to this, that's it. Mm-hmm. That's it. We don't mess around at that point. You either retire him or you send him to one of these sheriff's departments or turn them into a single purpose dog for a police department. Because they're NPCs. We're multi-purpose canines. They do everything. Tracking, bomb sniffing, you name it. Everything you can think of, man biting, all of it. That they encompass all of it. So this wasn't just a one-trick pony. This was an all-trick pony. Right. Up and including jumping out of planes. Right. Fast roping into combat, things like that.
Yeah. I mean, dog's done more stuff than most people in the military
had more jumps than some SF guys.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, he I don't want to really. The deployment was great. One of the best stories from our deployment with you guys was, we were following a known IED facilitator. We're hauling ass after this dude. He parks the truck, runs inside. Well, Dino's 30 meters ahead of us or more. And this is the first time that he actually alerts. He alerts outside of training, and it took me about 3 seconds to realize what he was doing because this is the real deal, man. This truck could have been rigged to blow.
Yeah.
B, he could fall sit, which wasn't a false sitter, not a false
right.
sitter. So when he sat, I knew it meant something. Well, he hits his butt. I mean, a long time before he gets to the back of the truck because the odor was so hard and the wind was blowing into his face. He pinpoints his nose right on the corner of the tail light. Well, we call an EOD, and EOD comes in there like, man, we can't find anything. I said, there's something in there. There's something in there. And I'll show you some pictures after this if you haven't seen them of EOD pulling the bed of this truck apart. They take some screws off. They pull this big steel piece off of the back. They look down in there and they're like, holy shit. There was a hidden compartment down there with 150 DTMF boards, dual tone multi-frequency boards, all ready to go, taped up, exposed wiring. All you had to do was put it on the munition, dial the number, boom. And I looked at everybody and said, he's not trained to smell circuitry.
Right.
You know that, right? And everyone's like, this was after the fact because, they got to a point where we start talking about awards.
Yeah. That's so crazy.
All in a day's work for a canine, right? But I said, but he doesn't smell circuitry.
Right.
That's what he found. But there were small amounts of probably HME or something in there that he smelled that saved our lives. And we ended up scarfing this dude up. The assault team goes in there, grabs this dude. All the munitions were in the house. I mean, it was a huge find for us. It was a huge find for me, for Dino. It was huge.
It's one of those classic things. Not only was it huge for now, but I'm sure you do. I mean, everyone has to realize, like, if those things get out into the hands of the people that they were going to, the amount of lives that dog saved.
I try to explain it, I just don't. I think it falls on deaf ears. I'm like, that's a lot of DTMF boards, 150. I said, before we went out every time, we would look at that map and it would have pins all over it to where you shouldn't go. But there was nowhere in Mosul you could go. It was everything was colored. There was no good route to take.
Right.
I mean, I was like,
right. The SIGACs were everywhere.
Well, listen, man, here's the deal. This dog just took 150 of those off
the map.
Wow. Yeah. So, yeah, again, that was another part of the Army that kind of miffed me at one point or two. Like, okay, I get it. These dogs don't deserve awards, but they do. They do.
Yeah.
Don't tell me it's all in a day's work for dogs. That's shut up. I know we train them to do that and everything. Maybe I was too close to him. Maybe I felt too much, for the animal, as they called them, 'cause, I mean, you guys use them far differently than we do. When he almost died one day and the sergeant major's like, I don't care. He's got to go back out. It's like, okay. So we had to go back out, after, 10 hours on target, all night and into the day. There was another one that came up after that.
Yeah.
I didn't come from a place where that dog gets replaced in a day. You know what I mean? So it was just very difficult to hear, just different thinking, thinking. So.
It's a fine line, and
very.
And it's one of those weird things. Both are right to some degree.
No,
and like anything else is, I think if both parties talk it out, you come to the right answer.
And at the
more times.
At the time, I trusted. He was a sergeant major,
right,
over there. So guess what? There was no questioning. I said yes, sir.
Right.
Grabbed him. We went.
But in the day, you lose that dog. We're not getting another dog tomorrow, and we'll get another dog.
We
quicker
definitely are. 10th group was definitely not.
We'll get another dog as soon as we can.
Yeah.
But and even if we do, that is going to put stress. We're just pushing the problem down the line, and we realized that at some point we're a little bit more judicious.
In the deployment of the canines, you just have to be, what they bring to the table is just, it's immense.
It is.
You talk to most guys who've had their lives saved by one. They will say, "We won't break the gate. We won't let them not come with us. We will not break the gate without one." It's like that's what it should have been. It should have been like that for a long time. I think
it hurts my heart when I go train SWAT teams, and not every single SWAT team across this country has a dog, because they don't. Most of them
don't.
Almost none of them do, and it. I'm sure I don't have to tell you.
But that capability is invaluable. It's invaluable.
It's immense.
It is invaluable.
What?
We had a great 3-year run. Dino and I did. We did an Afghanistan rotation. We did an Iraq rotation. And funny enough, we were actually in Athens, Greece, when Benghazi went down.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Are you familiar with it and what happened in Benghazi around that time?
I've heard stories.
It's kind of bizarre. I tell a lot of people this. We were contacted and asked to be removed to a skiff to learn what was going on, because we were possibly going to be picked up and gone, picked up and go with a unit who was going to go in and try to help. So guess what?
Yeah.
They picked us up and they said, "Hey, what do you need?" Because I was on a training mission. I was helping stand up the Greek hostage rescue team with their first canine. I was helping them develop their canine. And I didn't have all my good gear. I just brought practice stuff, and his stuff. And they're like, "Hey, can we get whatever you need from Germany?" I said, "Absolutely." They said, "They got a canine section there." I said, I've already got my M4. It's suppressed. I said, I need my good kit, because I didn't bring my good kit with me.
Yeah.
And here's what it looked like. Showed them a picture. So anyways, they started ginning up all this stuff. Obviously what happened there, none of us were sent. There was something that came out where, there was nobody within 12 hours reaction time, which is, I shudder at people who regurgitate that to me, knowing where I was. There was absolutely people that were close enough to react. And you tell me if I'm crazy or not, but I had friends that were even closer than me, ready to get going. And the story that was put out there, I find it disgustingly tragic, is what I will say. It was not. Yeah. It wasn't how I came to understand this situation.
Right.
And being a person who I felt like was, I was told pretty good detail on what was going on and what was available.
Yeah.
To hear that, I just thought, man, what do you do?
I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not a the government is evil. I'm not, but let me tell you, the government ain't about 1,000%.
Well,
either.
there's some evil people there, though. That's for sure.
And to think, and I know this, and to think that Americans were in trouble and we could have done more and didn't, I have a problem with that. I have a big problem that Americans were told to stand down, don't go help. I could go into a lot more detail about what happened that night and what could have and should have happened after that, but we just didn't. We wanted to sweep it under the rug, and we politically wanted to go away as fast as possible. And there were some pipe hitters ready to do some bad things that went home. That went home.
Yeah, dude. And I kind of want to leave it at that. I just reminded people when it came time to vote, like, do you want this person, in a position that I'm in, where I don't get the help I need because they decide it's not politically, prudent for them? I said, that's absurd. I said, you can't be that close-sided. You have to understand. I'm not telling you this from a political point of view. I'm telling you this from fact. Right. I experienced it. I was in the formations of plans to go do something about it. So don't tell me that, they didn't know what was going on or nobody was in response time. That's the silliest thing in the world. That just tells me you regurgitate what you hear on whatever news channel you decide to listen to. Because that's what it was.
But of course, how else would they know? And that goes, and that shame on the news channels for doing that. Because they're swaying the audience that trusts them to put it out.
It's tough, man.
And I try not to be petty. I can be, but I try not to be. That may have been one of the very first times. There's only been a few more times since then, but that might be in the very first time that I'll never forgive them for this.
Oh no.
And Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama. The buck stops there for the Benghazi thing, and I'll give credit where credit's due. But when we're talking about this, I'll never forgive them for that, and the American people shouldn't have either.
I agree, man. That was tragic.
And I don't say statements like that a whole lot.
Well, I had one more incident. I call it an incident, but it was, towards the end of my career. So, I want to finish up with the Dean area. After Dean and I got done with Athens, that was kind of the point where, hey, are you going to stay a dog handler? Well, Dino can't deploy. Well, guess what? And then no. They're like, well, we're going to keep him here. I said, well, you're not going to keep him here. I'll shoot him in the leg or shoot you in the leg or whatever. I said, here's what's going to happen. We'll retire him. And I said, nobody really, I never got any real pushback from that, wanting to take him home. So we did the dispo videos and, from January 10, 2013 until 2019, he lived with Darrin, he lived with Bo the rest of the time, living a life of luxury.
He earned it.
He sure as hell did. Man. The amount of stories I could waste time on telling you, man. He was incredible.
I got questions for you.
The guy was... I just ran out of brain capacity to figure out what else I could do with him. I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know what else can I train him to do. I was like, hell, here's your gun, shoot it at will, turd. I don't know what else to say.
I don't know how to, I guess, correlate this as good as I'd want to, but we guys like us, we get together, we talk, we miss. It's weird. We miss war. It was great. Dogs are smart. Dogs are just dogs at the end of the day. But they're a little bit more than an animal. But so they're this weird element to them.
No, absolutely right.
Do you think Dino knew he was in war? Do you think it was a game? And at the end of the day, do you think he missed war? Because he experienced everything we did. That might be a weird question to ask.
No, that's not weird at all, man. I often thought about it, and I often took questions of, do you think he would have chosen that? Do you think he chose that life? I was like, no. But I thought, you know what? The things that he did, I said, I was the most intimately familiar with his mannerisms and his characteristics. Yeah. I knew when he was happy. I knew when he was sad.
Yeah.
I knew when he was mad. And, I knew when he was, he was being a butthole. Dogs can do that. Dogs have bad days like humans, man.
Yeah.
But the times we were at war doing things that he knew to do, the tail was always doing something, that throws people. So if you see a video of him, in a training scenario where he hit somebody in a bite suit, his tail's wagging like crazy. When he's out searching for a man, doing a tracking exercise, his tail's wagging like he's happy. It was the happy wag.
Yeah.
I always knew. And when was he at his happiest? Every time he was with Dad, every time we were outside doing something together. It didn't have to be war necessarily, but guess what?
Yeah.
During those times, tail's wagging like crazy.
Yeah.
Sending him in a house with a camera on his back, while the team from the roof's coming down and he links up with them, and gets his gnarl on, his tail's wagging the whole stinking time. That's not because he's scared. That's not because he's afraid.
Yeah.
He's enjoying what he's doing. So I think I can answer that with with his permission to say, yeah, I think I don't know that he missed it, but he was sure as hell comfortable in it.
Yeah.
I mean, beyond comfortable.
Yeah. It's amazing.
We got to the point where wherever I pointed the muzzle of my gun, that's where his head would go. He was scanning because he knew somehow the Dad's gun is aiming at bad guys, and that means if he's pointing it that way, that's where my bite's coming. That's when we'll get my gnarl on. So I think he was completely comfortable in it, and I think if he had an option, he would have much rather been with Dad doing Dad things than sitting at home doing Dino retired guy things. 1,000,000%.
What'd you tell me last night about my dog? Do you remember what you told me? You said,
"Oh no, this is the absolute truth." They're our best friends for a certain amount of years, but we're their best friends for their whole life.
Yeah,
we are their best friends their entire life. From the day we get them to the day they die, we are their best friend. That's not the case for us. So think about that next time. You have people. I always
that hit home.
It crushed me a little when people call him a pet or what. And I'm like, listen, no, man, that's not how that works. A pet's you go pick up down at PetSmart or the pound or whatever.
No,
this dog was trained for war. He did war. He saved lives. He did far more than a lot of people get to. And I think some guys want to go and do their thing. Get into war, get into battle, do that, but they don't always get to. He got to, and he performed flawlessly. So
with the hot topic of today, with everything that dog did, which is more than most people have for this country.
That's right.
Do you think he should have been able to vote?
Absolutely. He's smarter than some people that vote. I know that. Promise you that.
I don't know if I'd argue with that. Yeah, I think you're right,
man. A lot of things, man. A lot of things that went on between him and I, and there were times where I was like, he's looking at me like he knows more than I know, and I felt like half the time that's probably correct, but he just didn't have a way to explain it to me. He didn't have plausible thumbs, so he could write it out. He didn't speak English. Right. Our commands were in Dutch. So I mean, he understood Dutch commands. He understood me speaking English to him. He understood everything I was saying to him. Yeah. Anytime I needed him to do something, we got down to where I was just giving him hand and arm signals. You know where I learned that? Training with you guys. When I got to go hang out with your dog handlers, they're like, "There's times where you guys can't be screaming shit. You got to shut up." Yeah. So I was like, man, I got into hand and arm signals with him. How long did it take him to learn that? 2-3 days?
That's awesome.
It's like, hey, dude, relax. I know you're smarter than me, okay? It's over. Enough's enough. Okay? I got it. I know. You're mad at me because I had to get your testiculars clipped, but hey, it wasn't because I was mad at you. Yeah, scrotal dermatitis gets you.
I have mine. It happens. It happens.
Everyone. Sorry, bud. That's just the way it goes. But no, man, he's
I kind of want to
sorely missed, man. Sorely missed.
Stay on this subject, and as one of my best friends, I know what this is going to do. So I almost hesitate talking to you about it, but I How long did you get to spend with them before you realized, hey, this ride's about to be over?
You know, Brent, the end, it was pretty abrupt. He was doing well, and then all of a sudden one night he was not doing well.
Why?
So he had an affinity to go out and eat grass. Not always, but you find out reasons why dogs eat grass for certain things to clear out their digestive system and stuff. Well, he had gone out and he had ingested some grass that had some bacteria on it. It's called leptospirosis. It's carried by nasty heathen animals like possums, armadillos, squirrels, things like that. And it just, his body, to come to find out, had taken a toll over the years, but he was still, he had been fighting it for a long time. Well, this was the thing that kind of just tipped the bowl over.
Yeah.
Got him into the clinic, probably 3 a.m. I mean, I ran out so fast, I left my front door open. Got him in there. They started giving him IVs, kept him alive. I thought he was dying. And they just x-rayed his entire insides, and his stomach was aided with cancer. His organs were aided with cancer. There were spots everywhere, everywhere. And they're like, we're frankly surprised that your dog's still alive. And then the vet comes in at one point and was like, Bo, the best thing, for Dino is for us to probably put him down. I said, okay. She goes, but here's the problem. It's like, I've been doing this for 30 years and I've seen, a lot of dogs come in and out of here, throughout the years. She goes, over my 30 years, she's like, I've never seen a dog that's got as strong a heart as Dino has. And true to form, I had gone home, I shaved my face, put on my ACU, put on my multicams, and put my body armor on. I came back with my beret. And when I opened the door, he tried to stand up. He was already sedated. My mom's crying.
Gosh.
The ladies are crying. He's already under sedation. And he sees Dad walk in with that damn uniform on. Like, it's go time. And that was the best. I cried because I could just see in his eyes that was it. He was like, okay, we're going into battle this last time. Let's go. Yeah. And we went,
Yeah.
The end was the end, but, in his mind, I think he saw Dad and he was like, oh my God, finally, we're going to go do it again. He didn't know that he wasn't going to wake up from that deployment, but still, the fact that, under sedation, he's about to take the green's about to go. He rolls over and tries to stand. He had lost use of his back legs at that point. It had gone down significantly, very quickly. But that made me stop for a half a second. It was like, wait a minute, am I doing the right thing?
Yeah.
But it was the right thing. But it gave me that little, glimmer. But it quickly changed to, this is the right thing. Let's, grabbed his head and got to feel him breathe his last breath, and I still smell him. I'll never forget that. It was a devastating time.
It's. I almost want to say, I mean, you've lost teammates, you lost a dog, but that you think that dog hit you harder? It was more like family and a best friend or family, and around enough. It's a dog. That dog hurt worse.
It was just different. It was just different.
It's almost an unfair question to ask, actually.
The loss you feel when you lose a teammate is, there's nothing else like it. I spent more time with Pat and those guys than I did with, my own family for years, But the same thing with Dino. It's just a different loss. It's a different feeling of loss. With him, it was every day for a decade. I was with that kid. You know, now I say it like that. I did deploy after I got Dino retired and at my house. So I'd drive him to Arlington. He would hang out with Margaret. Pretty much ruled the roost while I was away.
Okay.
You know, kept my mom's life on hold while, you know, I was deployed. But that being said, I just spent so much time with him. We did so much together. Just the impact he had on me as a person, post service was you know, he just kept me from doing a lot of things that I would have normally done that probably would have ended up, you know, me being in bad shape or worse shape, you know, with his passing, and not having my dudes around, to go do another deployment with or train with or any of that. I mean, I just found myself in a real bad spot I had put myself in, you know, using, the loss of Dino or, you know, whatever it was that I used to excuse the bad behavior. You know, that's what I had done. So I think it hit me harder in the fact that, you know, it was more fresh. You know, the difference between, you know, a human and a canine, significantly different. You know, Pat's life far more valuable. You know, I can say that as honestly as I can. It's Pat's value on this world was far more than Dino's.
Yeah.
So that's just the way that is, man. But you know, when you come down to how did it personally impact me, you know, they were both, you know, catastrophic losses to me, man. Just with Pat, I had the guys around. I had, you know, the support and everybody in place that helped get you through it. Right. You know, I you know, it's still painful to talk about at times. You know, because you don't want to lose a guy in combat. You don't want to do that. You don't want to be part of that team that was, you know, we got. You know, they had their input on that gunfight. Guess what? You know, we ended up taking a black eye. But with the loss of Dino, it was just, it took this constant from my life that, you know, that there's no void, there's nothing that can fill that void. There's nothing, you know. I mean, there's not a replacement dog. There's not, you know, somebody or something that's going to come along, you know. And I think as true throughout this entire, you know, podcast that we've spoken, you know, it's back to the Lord having a plan for me. And, you know, lo and behold, it was, hey, you're going to hit rock bottom. And then when you're there, you're going to hit a little bit further rock bottom.
When you're there, you're going to start digging.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did, man. I just put myself in this awful hole that, you know, I saw no light at the top, and just, you know, if I continued going in the direction I was going, I wasn't going to be around long. Not saying I was going to kill myself. I just think that I was on a course to slowly kill myself, you know, drinking, you know, just everything I could get my hands on. I was just doing things that would numb me from dealing with, you know, the everydays. Yeah.
You weren't going to kill yourself directly.
No.
But you were going to take care of yourself. Oh, no. And it wouldn't have bothered you.
No, not at all.
What the end result is.
No, I didn't. Yeah. It didn't, because I did it for years, man, after that. Yeah. Fast forward to a guy that I had met in 110. Chad Conley came into 110, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years maybe after I had gotten there. We were never teammates. We deployed, you know, to Afghanistan, 07-8. 8-9, I think. He was still on 2-4, but then we did again, and I think 13, when I came back from the dog team, went with Ted and 3rd Battalion back to Afghanistan. He calls me out of the blue, and he's like, Bo, I'm tired of our guys not getting the help they need, killing themselves, things like that. So will you help me start a nonprofit? At the time, I was like, yeah, man, absolutely. And it ended up being one of the things that pulled me out of that hole. We were getting geared up to do the 20th anniversary of 9/11, and he had started planning all this stuff out, and asked me if I'd help him, you know, get some money together, get some people together, and get up here and do this thing. Well, Chad has a lot of contacts in New York, and one of them was the head of the Joint Task Force up there. And this dude had NYPD ready for us to escort us through the boroughs. We had up close access to the memorial that morning. I mean, we had access to everything through the sky. So this was kind of a big deal. And that was the formation of 50 for the Fallen. We raised, which looking back on it now is kind of painful. We raised about $250,000, but we weren't a nonprofit yet. So we had to go through a couple of other nonprofits. So we just, all the money that we got went to the Special Operations Warrior Fund and then Ray Pfeiffer Foundation, which both great organizations.
Yep.
Looking back on it, it'd have been nice if we had been, 501(c) at that point, because we could have kept that money and we could have started, the treatment that we've been sending people to ever since. So, but man, fast forward to now, we've been doing it since the 20th anniversary of 9/11. Man, we put on a couple of events a year. One year we did too many. One year we did too little. We do the anniversary of Pearl Harbor. That's been great over in Hawaii. That's been fun. We've done that a couple times. As you know, this year we started our annual Slay the Clays event, which for year one, I think we raised $88,000.
Wow,
not bad for year one. But this next year, we're gonna bring the heat.
Okay.
Coming up, probably April, May timeframe, 2026. We're gonna put it on again at Alpine Shooting Range there in Fort Worth, and we're gonna blow the doors off. We've sent, with that money already, we've sent 2 guys who've gotten help for their traumatic brain injury, which is why we send them to Resiliency Brain Health. Those guys over there they're second to none, man. They focus directly on the issues with each veteran individually. It's not this cookie cutter treatment plan. They bring you in, they run all the tests they need to run. They get a treatment plan put together for you, and you follow it to a team. By the end of it, man, the way I describe it is, when they opened my brain up, it was this room with file cabinets that had been dumped over, and there are files all over the floor, man. Nobody can access them, can't find them. There's just no way for someone to go in there and categorize these things correctly.
Yeah.
Well, by the end of it, 85% of those files are back up. They're back in their they're back in their, in their drawers properly, labeled and put into order. There's a few things down there on the ground so that you can't always access. But I'll take 80% better over 0% better.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And that's what they're doing over there, man. Chad just went through. Chad just finished going through Resiliency Brain Health, and albeit he had a tough time at the beginning, because it is tough, man. It's a challenge. There's a lot of things that are happening, and after a challenging week 1, he blew through week 2, and man, he goes back and he tells me, it's the best thing. It's what he needed. He went home a better father, better husband, and his brain was quiet for the first time in 7-8 years, man.
Wow.
I mean, that's incredible.
It is incredible.
How many times have you been sitting around and just things are going, you just got stuff whirly birding up there, and you can't get it to stop no matter what you do. One thing turns to another, and then guess what? You got 6 whirly birds up there going. So for the mission for 50 moving forward, that's what we're going to continue to do. We're going to continue to raise money. 100% of it goes to sending guys to treatment. We'll pay for your flight. We're going to pay for your hotel, all that stuff. You're going to get your rental car, whatever you need.
Yeah.
And then all the treatment. It's all on us, man. And we're just going to get the guys there. I don't know how to explain it better than, the way I did. It's reorganizing your brain to work more efficiently, and just it allows for your day-to-day to be far less stressful, because when your brain's not acting right, when it's not functioning efficiently the way it should, things get stressful real quick. And if you can't handle stress very well, then things get from bad to worse.
Yeah.
So, and it's not just brain stuff that they treat there. They're talking to you about, the stomach being the second brain. What you put in your gut directly affects how your brain works. If you're sitting here eating, all processed foods and stuff that's, got preservatives in it for days and days, you're not going to get the best output from your brain. You want that capacitor running full tilt with good fuel, So you're burning it clean and everything's working, successfully, if you will. Like, I would imagine 42.5-pound injectors up there.
Sorry,
Dude, I cannot know that.
You know what you're doing.
Injected in the wrong place.
You know what you're doing with that. That is an inside joke.
I had to say it at some point. I'm sorry.
It's an inside joke. He hasn't let
I'll never let it go.
Let go for 20 years. I love that you're doing this. I say it all the time when it comes to this. Is my advice to everyone that's getting out. It's not about money. Some guys have got out and done really well for themselves.
Absolutely.
And still have given up on life. Find something with a purpose.
Yeah.
Because that's what we had.
Yes,
we had a purpose. We
Absolutely
had
right.
family, and we felt we had this worth.
Yeah, that's right.
And first and foremost, not to. Well, I don't care if people like it or not. First and foremost, the only purpose you're really going to have is God's purpose for you.
That's it,
so
man.
you won't
100%.
you won't be happy outside of that, regardless. And then once you have that purpose, filter it down. Find another purpose that brings meaning to your life, and you found that, and it's proof that advice is what works.
Again, from the very beginning of this conversation, of doors open, doors close, and that's the Lord pushed me down a path that I have been on from the get-go, whether I knew it or not. This is the path I've been put on. He continues to open doors and lead us in the right direction, and I'm be the first to tell you that's exactly how it goes. I'm not the one sitting back here deciding this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
I'm taking direction from the Lord, man. That's it. That's how success happens for me that I've found throughout my life. The doors that I wanted to open, guess what? Got slammed in my face. I was like, hey, shuffle right, dumb donut. Let's get you into this other door. Oh, yes, sir. Roger that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was
but
way off again. Sorry about that, boss.
Between Dino and the heavy mission of 50 for the Fallen, which I'm gonna come out there and support one of those events. I guarantee.
I'd like to send you through treatment at some point.
It's gonna be fun.
I know you can't do it. I know you don't have time for it, but I'm just telling you. At some point,
I'm going to make time
stop for
it.
10 days.
Yeah,
and I'm telling you, it'll be at the end of it. You're like, I can't believe I waited. I can't believe it.
That's
what I said.
I already know that's how it ends.
I'm a butthole that
is even
told
worse.
everybody, I'm good, man. I'm good. What do you need? I don't need to go. I was like, I'm going to get all these other guys.
Yeah.
As soon as I went, I was like, is this thing on? I should have gone earlier. I'm just telling you, man. When you decide that you have time, the money's already there for you, man. So
I appreciate that. I appreciate it. I do.
Brent, there will be a time. You will have had enough of not having the recall, can't think of the word. In the middle of a sentence, you just stop because you don't have everything put together. And it just stops coming as fast as it used to. You're getting tired of it, I'm not saying that's how it's working yet, but
no, that's
5 or 10 years maybe, you're going to be like, okay, Bo's right. I need to get this thing fixed. And nothing they do hurts. There's no pain involved. It's, doing the injection of NAD. Now that's not fun, but it tells you where your problems are. It's something that I'm going to continue to pray that, my friends that have banged their heads, which I know you have, realize that there's a time where I need to stop and take 2 weeks for myself and get this thing realigned. So
I will do it. And some people may just be real transparent here for a second. And he has a podcast. He talks all the time. He may not use big words because he's not smart, but he doesn't have like these word finding problems. The thing that you'll find, in fact, I heard this when I went to the TBI clinic in Tampa, which is, guys like us are still quick thinkers and we're problem solvers. And it happens to me all the time. I just get frustrated and there's a word I want to use and I want to use it so bad, but I can't think of it. So I have to use another word. And it wasn't the word I wanted to use.
Doesn't satisfy it.
It doesn't satisfy it.
Sir.
And then that kind of creates this domino effect of frustration.
Yes.
That's not the word. And it affects my whole thought process off of that one word. But if you just looked at me, you'd never know that's going on. And that I'm really frustrated about what's going on in this stupid head of mine. And you get real hard on yourself over it.
You just explained it to a T. Exactly what happened to me.
Yeah.
You know, exactly. I just finally got to the point where it's like, I'm tired of not being able to pull that word up. A. B. Now that I thought so hard on the word, I can't remember what the hell I was talking about. What were we even talking about just now? Now I'm going to find the word and be like, well, hey.
It doesn't matter now.
Scuttlebutt. That's the word you're looking for? Scuttlebutt. I don't know how I was going to use it in what sentence, but hey, I thought of it finally. I mean, that's, you nailed it, man. That's exactly right. Whatever they told you at that TBI clinic is 1,000,000% correct.
Yeah. So,
because it is frustrating as hell. I mean, because for me, I was about to say something very witty, and I was waiting, and that word was sitting there, and I could see it across, the front of my frontal cortex, and like, it wouldn't come out. I can see it, and I'm like, yeah, just terrible. So,
I was debating this, and I'm going to do it. I'm not. It's a new platform. It's a new day.
Absolutely.
But there's some things I want to carry
butter
over.
or brother?
What's that?
Did you just say butter or brother?
It's a new platform. It's a new day. But there's.
But
there's. Thank you.
So butter. Okay,
Butter.
but there.
Yeah, butters. No. Dang it.
Yeah, it's been going a minute. Oh no.
I'm gonna leave
Did I
that.
ruin your thought?
I'm gonna leave that in there. I'm gonna leave that in there. There's some things I want to keep from the last chapter of my life, which is gonna be tough because you just told almost all your stories.
Almost.
With some of the heavy stuff of this, end it with a funny story, so people driving home from work don't have to walk into their walk into their house
Puffy
upset.
eyes. Brent, what kind of funny story can we tell? I thought we've told them all, man.
Oh no,
all the good ones. Okay, so one of my favorites.
I knew it wouldn't take long.
Well, this one, I don't even know that this is really funny, but we were talking about football earlier, and we had gone to Oklahoma to play or to do something called was it Max Gain? Max Gain.
Yeah.
So, and I think we've discussed this ad nauseum, so I'll make it quick. So for 10 days we were sitting, 100 meters from a lake where people were partying because it was July 4th. Plus our cadre brought their motorcycles and left us out in the middle of nowhere. Remember, they couldn't get us resupplied because the storm came.
A tornado hit.
Well, they told us it was straight line winds until they drove us back. And they were like, that's not straight line winds. That's called a tornado.
Yeah.
But so we got back and we had a couple of days to burn. So we're going to play football. We split up the teams and I think it was North versus South or something like that. It was
something like that.
It was Texas and a couple of states, and then we had enough people, and then it was like the East Coast.
Yeah.
Because I remember wasn't Colin Thomas from Connecticut or something?
That's right, he was. Yeah.
Anyways, so we get into this game, we're playing, and for some reason, our good friend Don Gandalf Scully is guarding Brent, and he keeps getting burned. And I mean burned like super toast. Well, I'm playing defensive end, I'm rushing the quarterback, and I'm yelling at Donnie, I'm just belittling him. And it was very uncalled for, but I was, just joking around about it, but I was really getting into his business. So Donnie's like, all right, Bo, if you're so confident, why don't you come in and guard Brent? I said, fine, I'll come guard Brent. I said, God's sake, he's not that good. Well, I get over to him, and at the very beginning of the snap count, he's standing on the line. So I'm like, as soon as I get my hands on him, I'm going to jack him up. Well, it was like he knew it, and he took 2 steps back. I said, oh, shit. As soon as they said, he took 1 step inside out, and he wasn't around me before I'm screaming, help, help, help. And literally the whole half of the team's dying. Donnie's yelling at me. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, the same thing you should have done. You should just go for help. But Paco took off so fast. It was Speedy Gonzalez stuff, man. It was 1 step in, out, and I was like, my feet hadn't even moved as I'm turning my head screaming, do you remember that, Shirley?
Of course I remember that.
I'm pretty sure you were you didn't even continue your route.
because
everybody just fell over.
We had the best time.
It was great.
We had the best time.
That was great.
In big cities. We had the best time in Oklahoma during tornadoes.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just add on the stories. I don't know if we were in different camps. They couldn't resupply us.
We weren't far apart, though.
They couldn't resupply us.
They told us to pull the antennas out of the trees so they couldn't talk to us. Remember?
Right. The
get all your stuff out.
Was at a halt. And I pulled out a sock and a piece of tape, and I made it into a 100-mile an hour tape. I made it into a ball. I went out and I found a branch, and my side of the camp
Y'all played wiffle ball.
We played stick ball.
You turds.
All day long.
Of course you did.
And we had a blast. Like it's just fun. Like if you're with the
remember-
right guys, everything's fun.
Gosh, I can't remember the name of the guy. I keep wanting to call him. Was it Tad Craig? Was Tad one of our Rocket Ride
Craig.
Tad?
Sergeant Craig, absolutely.
He was one of our instructors, right?
Yeah. In the Echo
And remember,
course.
we had a cadre that I had a hard time with one of the shots, and I said, man, I'd have an easier time if I stuck that ballon up my butt, and
Was it L14? Lautenschlager?
It wasn't Lautenschlager.
Okay,
no, hell
right.
no. I don't remember Lautenschlager. But this guy goes back and tells Craig, and Craig comes out there and smokes me. Remember, he drops that index card underneath me. He goes, as soon as you get a drop of sweat on this index card, and he smokes me until I'm not a good sweater.
A good sweater.
I mean, I was doing mountain climbers, flutter kicks.
Yeah.
I mean, just
Oh,
killed
my
me.
gosh.
It's like, I mean, I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah,
Apparently,
over that.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Come on. Yeah, I didn't get to play no stick ball. I was getting scuffed up. I was getting scuffed up by Tad Craig. I enjoyed that guy. He was a good dude, man. He got us in great shape, dude. He got us in great shape.
I love it because it just seems so funny when we tell those stories. Sometimes, even though we're at the same place, my experiences sometimes are different than yours. Like you're getting smoked, I'm playing stick ball, and you get so mad.
I don't. The only reason that they even knew you were in the course was because they saw your name on the roster. They never had anything on you ever, not ever. Like, man, we don't know who this Brent Tucker is. Like, well, he made it again. Come on, it was incredible, right? You were notoriously what we call the gray man.
It's true,
But
I don't.
In the exercises, you were far from the gray man.
I was
You were the life of the party, the funny dude. I mean, always saying stuff. I mean,
yeah.
Yet it was almost like Eddie Haskell, all super nice and sweet in front of Mrs. Miss Cleaver. And as soon as Miss Cleaver goes, you're this loud, crazy dude. It goes nuts and does everything, that you're not supposed to. But yeah, good stuff, man.
Well, we'll finish this episode,
brother.
and we'll go tell some more stories. I haven't forgot. You told me, of course, you probably already forgot about it. But hey, I'll tell you that story offline.
Yeah, I probably forgot it.
We'll figure that out. And then you guys would have already seen this, or at least seen Bo, because we're about to get ready and do the live tonight.
All right, looking forward to that, man. Looking forward to that, big time. Brent,
Thanks,
I appreciate
Bo.
you having me
Absolutely.
on, man. It's anytime I can talk about Dino.
Heck yeah. Love you, brother.
Love you too, man.